the reason why I'd probably give it away. But let's wait and find out. Budapest 5 looked very impressive yesterday on Mirage. The question is, can they replicate that feat today? And it was very impressive on the CT side, though. The B side definitely had some weakness.
Yeah.
Then again, they were just rushing B like 4 times in a row. So.
And they were taking advantage of the fact that the team that they were facing in Illuminar seemed to just kind of break. So yeah, there's some small Hail Marys. Maybe you don't put I don't put much stake in that particular game where we got them seeing popping off on Mirage, just because when the opposing team is having such a breakdown in individual performance, and you can see these small bits of miscommunication. We're seeing team flashes being hit by their opposition. Then it's very difficult to put much stake in it, I feel. Well,
our buds over at LootBet are giving this a flat 187 to 187. Wow, I think you might agree with it. I think Budapest 5 is favored here, so this is a great one to jump in on if you're interested. But I'm not giving away advice when it comes to betting. I never will. I never do.
Yeah, I mean, you're on one side, I'm on the other. LootBet's right in the middle. Our partners making sure that everything's mediated, but we're straight into the pistol round. HELLRAISERS started on that CT side, and while a lot of damage is done on towards JR, they've at least spotted the presence in, but Budapest, they want to wrap this A site quickly.
Corey's taking first point. He's got the first. Jalem is down. Kalinka from this side, though, always good with that first bullet. Less so with the next 3, but he's able to get 2 more regardless. Flerich is next to chime in, and HELLRAISERS have found themselves a great start. Coolio looking for a way out of that murder hole, but instead he will find a way out of this world.
Yeah, this early information that JR gets a whole lot done for the CT side, just being a nuisance and keeping himself alive. While this isn't the best of duels for that CT side to start off, it was really Kalinka that sealed things in. Those 3 kills from under balcony just going unchecked, and it made things all that much easier. So Budapest knocked down a peg, and while they'll force buy into this and get the MAC-10s in their hands, you know that what that means. The B bomb site is very much the target.
Leave has got the flashbang lined up, but the problem is problem, and he can just chime right in. Nades out as well. Good damage done all across the board. Is looking for maybe a little bit of HP, a little bit of life, but more than that, if he can get away to safety, he's happy with that. Remember, this is the 4th fight from Budapest 5. This is not where you're necessarily expecting problem to come out and completely take control with that MP9. This is really where he's just playing the close range angle information. Problem CZ in hand now. Even closer range angles. Not much to do for Budapest 5. They do find 1 kill with MAC-10, so money's good. Bomb will be planted, and that's actually a very big achievement. I didn't think that would come through.
Yeah, some narrow timings. The damage done to Kalinka made him play a bit more passive than he otherwise would have, but the cash injection from that can certainly be felt for Budapest, and so while it will be a half buy, they'll have a very, very strong first gun round coming into it. But the fact that HELLRAISERS go for that initial aggression towards the apartments, meeting Budapest head on, just causing so much havoc into the B apartments, just made things that much harder.
Maybe it's actually a part of Budapest 5 strats to rush B a lot. I was giving them a lot of credit yesterday with that. I said, yeah, they're fighting the economic battle. They know that at one point they can join things up, but hey, they really know. JR trying to get aggressive, but he's met by Corey's deagle. It's not quite the most welcoming of visitors, but hey, it's there. Jalem, meanwhile, he's good for some long-range angles. That's where the FAMAS excels. That's what I like to see, you know. The problem coming in from the side, easy cleanup with the MP9. They've got quite a few bits and pieces lying around, but at the end of the day, 3 rifles are alive, and they will be perfectly okay. Actually, 2 rifles. Very chat an MP9. Okay.
Well, maybe he changes his hands, maybe he upgrades, but of course the bonus round is a very enticing idea for HELLRAISERS, so no real investments, no buying up, upgrading away from the FAMAS, the MP9. They'll be happy to have those coming through and see if they can get their hands on these AKs and the AWP of Corey as JR invests in his own AWP. So now that the gun round's underway, we get to see both these AWPers at work. See who comes out ahead. Initially, the AWP in Corey's hands just for a spawn-based pick, and we'll see it in the hands we expect in towards it. Again, again, aggressive towards B are HELLRAISERS and the deep smoke as well.
So the deep smoke is like, so this deep smoke is something that you see a lot being thrown because you can take it in the CIS region, in the tier 2 especially, because you can take advantage of the fact that the Molotov that teams almost always throw at this point deep into apartments gives you just enough time for the smoke to go over the top and land. But the fact that Budapest 5 is still sticking around there is what's really interesting. In HELLRAISERS, they even exploit the fact that there's a little bit of a time gap for the deep smoke to actually land even afterwards, so the T's can see you. So because the T's are generally going to be keeping that angle, they spray down through the smoke and find that kill. Now, though, comes out the full execute on the A side. And JR, he's ready to counter, but Torzy finds that kill. That's huge. Flares going down is very problematic.
They're trying desperately to keep ground on this bomb site. Torzy hitting the shots he absolutely needs to secure this plant from Budapest 5. Now they can set themselves back. These smokes giving enough coverage to allow these post plants. The 3 versus 4 as the CTs begin their retake. Problem still on the B bomb site is he's already tapped out. He wants nothing to do with this round unless this is some sort of a connection issue. But Budapest are just trying to hold on to this site, and meanwhile HELLRAISERS are slowly trying to edge their way out of this. I think he's gone. I think he's out of the server. That doesn't seem normal.
I'll tell you what's going on here. I know what's going on here. Problem knows that he can't. He's one of the only people on the HELLRAISERS side who can't buy a rifle into the next round. So he's just like, yeah, I'm disconnecting, guys. Whoops, we can't go for that retake.
Wait,
I'm sure he'll be match-made in though.
We just owned the round over at B, and you guys lose A. That's it. I'm out.
Like, guys, why is it that every time they go to A, we're losing this round?
Yeah, I know. That's ridiculous.
But Budapest 5, very interesting to send Torzy up into Palace, actually. You don't see the Opper going into Palace late round very often.
Yeah, and to do so by himself as well, right? You expect that forward position from Flarch to net them a kill just because of that surprising element, but Torzy knows what's up. He knows he's going to get there late, and so that possibility is always there.
Torzy's been bred in the fires of the new matchmaking without the cheaters, quote unquote. I went up against a full global lobby yesterday, which was all just on the gear, which was fun.
Wow. You sure they weren't just talented?
Yes. Because even if you're talented, you're not going 20 kills and 0 deaths.
True.
Like, sorry, device probably can't do that, so... Yeah. Regardless, though.
That's... In all fairness, we were sort of joking about it. That's a rather unfortunate turn of events for HELLRAISERS. The 3 versus 4, sure, they don't have the numbers, but they've got the AWP of JR. They had position early enough that they could have potentially found picks, and that retake is certainly feasible for that CT side, given especially they had money to work off of for the following round.
Honestly, I think that I think they might not have gone for it either way, though, because at the same time, the 2 players not having money to buy up in the next round is actually quite dangerous. So now you can pull out the double up, and you see the CT still have a reasonable amount of money left. So even if you lose this round, which hopefully they don't, but even if you lose this round, you just need to eco once, and then you have another buy there. So it does make a difference, especially if you can save an M4 moving forward into the next one. But Budapest 5 is really, really into the idea of the B bomb site.
Yeah, such a heavy default over that direction.
And it's so early as well that they're going out. Kalinka can't quite get that shot. They crouch underneath the scope, and Problem is stuck reloading. What's going on here? Is this another call to save? It has to be. You can't retake this B bomb site. And Jalem, even he misses the shots, which means that the easy free kill that they were supposed to get isn't there. JR goes down, and that'll be it. Kalinka playing a very close range angle with the AWP, and he's punished for it.
Yeah, hoping that Budapest would play the round out a little slower, I suppose, but getting caught on that balcony, trapped in the corner, he was easy enough for them to find, and they're on the hunt. They want to get these rifles out of their hands because they've read just the damage that's been done in these previous rounds. And while they don't have too much of a sight line into these last two players, the damage primarily done. The two AWPs that were brought into the round for Hellraisers, one saved, one invested into. They accomplish nothing and they lose both.
That's still so strange, though. The problem is also caught reloading.
Mm-hmm.
Where...
Who is he shooting at? He's spamming.
Maybe he was trying to find Kalinka before he got there, but that seems unlikely as well. Also, the other really weird thing is that they definitely heard them coming because they ran. So Problem knew exactly where they're coming from. Torsi, meanwhile, though, takes down Jalem. I don't even know where that was. I think it was a pick over in A. Yes, indeed. Always the frustrating angle to deal with.
Yep, outgunned, outmatched. Well, Hellraisers, they don't have the best weaponry coming into this. Is positioned by Flower to at least eliminates one of the angles that could be an approach towards the same bomb site. But look at the utility coming on through. JR has to do so much work here. The first kill good, but traded out. Budapest hold a significant numbers advantage as they emerge the victors on this site. While Flower had that position, he gets nothing for his troubles. It's ultimately a null point.
So, I like that. Slowly, oh, actually, hold on. Top Problem might still be going for some sort of damage in case he can find it. That's very, very brave, but that bravery may not be rewarded. But I like how slowly we're going from 1 tier save down just a peg repeatedly. So first we had the 2 M4s and an AWP. Then we had the 2 M4s. Now we have an M4 and a Farmers.
Yeah, next is going to be an MP9 save, and
yeah,
you wouldn't be happy about that.
They still have a buy though. That's the worst thing, that mentally you're thinking, yeah, but we can still buy. You know, Problem can drop a Farmers, Flares can drop an M4. We can still figure it out. We can still buy up. JR's got enough money for one of his own as well. And it's also that you're 3-3, where you consistently want to stop the T side before they accumulate too much momentum. But the T economy is really good. You've got 3 players above $8,000, so already you're getting into that point where CTs maybe just need to save once.
Well, one of the saved rifles is dispatched of. That's the downgrade already. A very, very likely possibility. Torzy, he's hit the shots he needs to. He's got 2 with the AWP already, and he's making sure that they know that middle is his domain. Right now, Torzy is hitting some crucial shots for Budapest 5 since he's got his hands on this AWP. And while Hellraisers will still attempt to keep control of middle, they have left a very open and very vacant B&A bomb site in doing so.
Oh, Torzy could have had another one right there, but instead Kalinka's able to move up, pick up the M4, and see if he can get aggressive, even find Strarzy. That's a big kill, because that isolated 2 players, but Corey was not expected. He was just hiding away behind the cut, baiting out Strarzy, and he does get the kill very quickly. JR left alone. If Corey dies, they may not be able to get the AWP. JR might just throw that one overboard, so always be careful about that. And Corey lives, he'll pick up the AWP and he's fine. I will say this though, that Hellraisers are playing some very strange CT setups even for the save. You don't expect, as we'll also give a quick shout out to our case partner, the Hellcase, in just a second, but you don't expect the M4, the saved M4, to be the one who's really just running up mid contesting. Hellcase, of course, though, are good old partners with whom there is no contest. They are the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgraded dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo codes to save more and grab what you want. So yes, Budapest 5 finding early picks pretty consistently.
And I think that's the big difference maker, the fact they're getting those early picks, and Torzy just hitting so many shots. I mean, that seemed like Problem would catch him off guard, have a narrow advantage, but the AWP strikes true.
Well, this is not a pretty sight for Kalinka.
Yeah.
From it's not even out of the frying pan into the fire, it's out of the fire into more fire. Not great.
Yeah. Don't want to be in that kitchen. And while we're not quite in Hell's kitchen, Hellraisers are in a bit of a rough spot. They're seeing the flyer. and they want nothing to do with it.
I thought you were about to say Hellraisers needs Gordon Ramsay to come chat at them.
Maybe that would help.
Also true. I do like that Budapest 5 is still clearing out all the angles with their Molotovs and whatnot as well. They've got so much money. It doesn't matter if they're using all their utility over here to clear out some angles. And that's just nice to see. If they can keep all 5 players alive, or at least try and send a few out to hunt, obviously you could see some massive advantages coming out there. Corey is actually on the hunt, and he's the one to always keep an eye out for if he can get some information. I don't think he's heard Kalinka, but Kalinka was running. Oh, he's heard him now.
Yep, there's that one jump too many from Kalinka.
Yes, so Corey, he'll be taking this peak soon. JR should be able to save at the very least. So there is some solace there, but Corey, the slowest of all peaks, followed up by the wide swing. Hellraisers will not have a bye in the next round as a result of that. JR, sure, he saves the op, but he needs to pull off some heroics. And this is where, if there's any League of Legends players here, they would probably all chat and say op difference, because there is a pretty big op difference. JR is 2-4. And he's not been having a great time with opening picks. Torzy, although his scoreline's not that impressive on 6 kills and 4 deaths, it still seems like at least 4 of those have just been entries.
Yeah, the high impact frags for Torzy, even if it doesn't quite reflect on the scoreboard. And while Corey has had his fair share, Badito had a round where he gets a double entry over a B. You know, the score lines don't seem particularly impressive from individuals in Budapest, but they've had some crucial rounds by many of their individuals, and we've yet to see really too much of that on the Hellraiser side. Kalinka's leading the way for his side, but it's been primarily B focused from the Budapest 5 lineup. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for Hellraisers. They've tried a couple times to get aggressive through middle, but Budapest have always seemed to get out ahead on it.
Well, they are actually sitting 3 people down mid again, but Budapest 5 is going for the good old, hey, let's go A this time strategy. And JR is finally coming through with some entries. Flarich as well with a great shot via the Deagle. JR could maybe step up. He hasn't been smoked off at the stairs, and that's a bit of a mistake. He's repositioned, scoped into Torzy, and Torzy is down. A 3 versus 2 quickly turned into a win for Hellraisers as the Deagle and CZ chime in. What a round for JR to come alive, finally showing some signs of life.
Yeah, ask and you shall receive, right? You need him to be the hero in that round, and he delivers. Getting those 2 kills, creating that space, and drawing a bit more attention towards the stairs. Those pistols made sure to do all the rest for Hellraisers, and that's a bounce back round. That can really shift things up, because they've saved these weapons so many times on this Hellraiser side, but they've reaped none of the rewards for doing so outside of that round. And while JR, he is heating up, Torzy this time punished through middle.
Badito is really hoping he can just strafe out and get the 1-tap onto the CT player. It's literally the most satisfying shot in all of Mirage to hit. It's also very consistent, so you'll see a lot of players with their spawn try and go for that, which is one of the reasons why the meta has changed to make it so. Oh, hold that thought, as we've got some taps. Corey comes out and takes on Kalinka instead. So, all right, that's not as consistent. You're not always going to find a boost in front of you, but it's a big kill to get. Kalinka's one of the higher fraggers and, you know, one of the more individually skilled players to keep an eye out for in Hellraisers. But Corey repositions and finds yet another. Flarich will be next in line to fall. Jalem chiming in with another kill immediately after that. So flashes come in. Corey's blinded out. They can't chase up, but Corey still comes in with another. This man seems to be unstoppable.
Oh, now it has to be Fleeve. 1 versus 2 is Hellraiser's approach from both sides, and he tries to get into the smoke, but JR is too fast to spot him out, get himself on the trigger, and get himself on that bomb. Hellraisers, they'll take another round, and it's off the back of another multi-kill by the AWPer from that CT side.
It's also strange to see it come through when Corey is still able to put up such a monstrous effort.
Yep.
But unfortunately, just the worst possible round for his teammates to go missing. Torzy, I hope he doesn't start to get impacted by the fact that, you know, he's been killed by JR a few times, because he is a slightly younger offer. He's not someone who's got all that tenure, all that veterancy, and you can get a little bit unnerved at those times.
Yeah, and I'm actually quite interested to see how JR kind of moves around that map. He got the first kill over towards the towards middle, then rotated towards B, whereas quite a few operators would traditionally rotate towards the A side of things instead. But I mean, Budapest, you can see why maybe he rotates towards that B side, because Budapest have been so set on hitting this B bomb site, and they'll do it once more. Coolio jumping out of the apartments. He's already found 1 kill on Kalinka, and he's looking for more. So far, so good. Even exchange from the CT side. Budapest take control of the site, but there's Torzy with his AWP.
JR now has to come in on the retake op. You've got yourself the opening kills, but can you retake with it? That's the hallmark of difficulty. JR bunny hops forward. He's got style, that's for sure, but can he get the frags? It's Flares to come in, JR to add, and Flares knows where the last one is. It's Torzy, and Torzy is going to be jiggled out soon enough if they're able to find him. That would be big, but he repeats out for 3. Torzy single-handedly delivers Budapest 5 their 6th round, and what a way to do it. Look at this shot right here. They don't quite scope in. JR is expecting him to be all the way towards the back of Van, but Torzy's got a much more aggressive angle, and JR can't win that duel.
And I think HELLRAISERS get in their own heads there, because the Molotov comes out from Van. They have a sight line to prevent the jump up into the apartments, but JR scoped towards short. They seem to have lost track of where that player was, and in the heat of the moment, Torzy takes advantage of that small gap, that small difference maker in that particular round. And while HELLRAISERS will look to answer back, JR back on the AWP and taking an aggressive angle into the apartments, it's a slow approach from Budapest in this round, still very B and mid focused, but they've got that lurking pressure now from Badito.
I mean, Badito versus JR is an interesting battle, but there could be another one coming through. Coolio barely misses Jalem, and Jalem's going to reveal himself soon, but he gets the kill somehow or the other. He's got the immediate snap to the head, and Coolio is brought down. Jalem may not have much HP to work around with, but he is happy with that exchange. And immediately after that, you see how HELLRAISERS is getting aggressive towards the A bomb side. They're expecting this hit to come through. They're trying to get back any sort of control they can to prevent Budapest 5 from having too much of a field day.
Yeah, they're clearing things through middle, making sure J-Lam's not positioned around that, lurking by and giving so much information to that CT side. 35 seconds left for Budapest to approach this B bomb site, and they spot the boost out immediately. Problem atop the boxes, he's been smoked off. He pushes forward, and Badito, he'll take him down. Kalinka dancing around the pillars, trying to stay alive for as long as possible, allow these rotates to come in, that crucial duel one to allow more space. And Kalinka, oh, he's sneaking further forward, and he's causing a bit of havoc, but Fleeve sweeps up the rest. Corey as well will chime in. It's just JR on that AWP, replicating results with the jump out for Market, and he's caught the bomb. 4 seconds, they just narrowly get the timing down, and he's pushed in towards Market. JR's caught wrapping around, spinning around, trying to track down where Fleeve is gone, and Budapest will take the round.
JR though, what an effort put in towards the very end. That could have been huge. Is it possible to wallbang empty pillar?
It might be, but it's not. I don't think it's enough damage.
Okay, because I was thinking if he just wallbanged him with the off straight to the head accidentally, that would have been very cool to watch. Of course, you know, players don't do things because they're cool for casters. They do things because they want to win the round. Unfortunately, JR not quite able to capitalize off of his efforts, but you can see now why they even went for it. No money whatsoever over here. Nade goes awry. Unfortunately, Kalinka doesn't quite line it up properly, and because of that, it pops in the corner of the apartments rather than going through to the second room. That actually happens quite a bit. It's unfortunate, but mid control's been taken. The flank may be there from JR, but Torzy and Badito have already found all the kills they need. Oh.
Yeah, that B-bomb site has lost all its defenders, and while there was a good effort from JR to get a fast flank underway, I'll actually allow him to get his hands on the AWP. So there's a chance he could save this over, but he had missed that timing initially. Now it becomes a recovery mission, a survival one at that, because Budapest will want to make sure that's not an easy investment that he can get away with. JR, oh, shoulder spotted out, the vent preventing the death, and well, they'll get their hands back on the AWP, make sure that Torzy holds onto it. A decent effort, and one that HELLRAISERS had an initial plan coming into it, but Budapest just getting all those entries so rapidly negates any of it.
Look, I'm sorry, that vent is the most bullshit thing ever.
Yeah, he shoots through the gap, but
yes,
it's still
he shoots through the gap, and it still soaks up damage. It is ridiculous that that's possible. I mean, at least Valve, at least make it like, I don't know, like a pane of glass. You know, do that. It doesn't hinder visibility, and it still makes more sense than shooting through nothingness. But
my immersion, why is there a window just in the ladder room?
They needed it for construction. I don't know. So, have you never heard of central airflow circulation? I haven't either.
I haven't heard of temporary glass either, but let's just we move on right past it.
Well, a full execute comes in. Flarich is waiting for the pushes, but this time slightly slower from Budapest 5, and JR is able to capitalize because of that. Flarich is waiting to peek out, but he's waited a bit too long and is overwhelmed with just one kill. Kalinka and Problem, 2 versus 2. And with the Molotov down, the bomb should be planted. Can they get this retake out?
Oh, the smoke fades. He has to take the fight towards you. These are crucial shots to be missing, my friend. The leg as well on towards Problem, but Torzy, he's trapped. He can't reposition. There's a high ground taken by Problem, and he'll play Overwatches. Kalinka moves further and further forward. It's perfectly played from the last two of HELLRAISERS. A very chaotic site take from Budapest. The fact that Flarich stays alive for so long, he doesn't even really know where to aim on the bomb site just because the smokes are down. And even still, a narrow advantage given to that CT side.
Unfortunately, Torzy missed that first shot. Otherwise, it could have been entirely possible as well.
Absolutely. Well, Budapest, they've still got money. Of course, they can buy into this last round of the half. And while there's a few shortcuts taken by HELLRAISERS, you say they're going to go B. They're spreading out in a very standard default.
I think that's the first time we've actually seen that.
Yeah, it might be. Typically setting up for an A execute, typically sort of
down apartments.
Yeah, double mid, double B, and then just the one lurker at A. This, I think, is the first time.
Well, there goes the secondary smoke for window, but Kalinka's position is really good, and they've got, oh, look at this stack from HELLRAISERS. They know. They have called it. Kalinka's position is fantastic, and now that he's seen there's no one over towards mid, they've said, you know what, this is probably our Hail Mary to B. Let's make it work out. Unfortunately, GR has turned around, and that could be a mistake because he's expecting someone to come in from behind. Problems waiting for a flashbang, something on the lines that it could maybe help him out a little bit. And there's the Molotov, there's a distraction and a flashbang there as well. He keeps the spray going, gets himself 2, and Budapest 5, well, they're perhaps a little bit upset at their predictability.
Yep, the bomb drop Problem still taking names towards the apartments. Coolio, a 1 versus 5 would certainly be a great effort, but we'll have to see the start of it, but not the finish. Kalinka chiming in with that secondary AWP. What a good read from HELLRAISERS, but like you said, you go B so many times, it's the fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 7 times over, and it really is my own fault.
All I'm saying is if I could guess it, then HELLRAISERS definitely can. But the boys over at Lootbed are guessing who will be winning this game. I say guessing, but they've got all their algorithms, their numbers, their digits, their calculators all pulled out, furiously typing away, and it's a 158 or 251. I actually think that's I don't know. That the
after
side for Budapest 5
after such a close first half. And considering this
185.
Yeah, they were very even to start off this game, and with an even scoreline pretty much at the half, they've shifted their opinions.
Yeah. They're sharing my opinion now, even though I don't have that opinion anymore. But let's wait and see. It seems like there will also be a B site hit from HELLRAISERS. Can this be a quick one? Seems like maybe, but not the way they wanted it to be going. Coolio, Badito, and Torzi coming in, piece by piece, taking them apart. And that's a quick round for Budapest 5 to come through.
Is there some kind of... Do they have some kind of thing where they just don't like this A bomb site? I feel like Budapest, their B site holds are strong, their B site takes are strong. They don't show much love to the other side of the map. The few times that they have done, it hasn't reaped the most amount of success. And while HELLRAISERS, they try and take that same strat, they try and test their own B side pressure, and well, they maybe realize that they focus on that side of the map a little bit more.
Well, it's going to be Corey who's getting aggressive into A main, and he's found a kill already. JR going down, and that leaves Jalem up top on Palace to try and find that shot immediately after. But Corey says, you know, you're just another $600 to me. You're just a checkbook for me to open up and take away. Tozzy, he's experiencing some of that himself. So, not the smoothest of sailing, all in all. Badito's the one being boosted up over here. I do not like that, but neither does Problem. He takes him down. And as a result of that, Coolio gets a chance to get some more money and pick up the farmers potentially. But Problem needs to be taken down first, and indeed he is. Problem threw away the farmers, actually.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, midair.
Nice little swift movement. Just to make sure that he couldn't get his hands on it. Coolio had the chance. He certainly had the chance, but he'd have to jump up, press E furiously. Didn't fancy his chances. Flourish will still have a go himself with the deagle, but he's been spotted out, and Fleave will take him down a long distance with the A1S.
No, he threw the farmers outside of the map.
No, yeah, I think Coolio had a chance to sort of jump up when it was on the end of the balcony, or the end of the apartments.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
but that would have been a big risk to take.
Indeed.
When you were talking about just another check, just another name, I couldn't help but think of that copy pasta, where it's like you're just another name on the list. Just pretending to be some crazy hitman.
What do you mean pretending?
Oh yeah, true. Nobody on the internet lies.
Yeah. Torzi, he's not a lie. He is the truth. He comes in with one, looking for two, but Kalinka can trade. Badito, is that a one-way smoke? I think it is, and indeed it is. Fleric will take down Fleave in the meanwhile, so advantage goes to HELLRAISERS.
And the push through towards A. JR just narrowly missing the timing to start things off. 30 HP to play with. The SMG could have been deadly, but JR adjusts, keeps himself healthy. And well, Budapest will try and pick up the pieces from there. That kill towards A has signaled that rotation over from the last remaining two players. If they can save, that would certainly be ideal, but they are just hoping that they have stacked correctly and that HELLRAISERS will meet them. But you can see that that doesn't seem to be the case. Just JR lurking, throwing utility over to keep them distracted. Meanwhile, the rest of HELLRAISERS grouped up at B.
JR going for the hunt before the bomb could be planted. It gives them information, but also could just give away a free AK. HELLRAISERS is being very, very careful for an empty bomb site. Of course, they don't know that it's empty, but it's always a good old chuckle to find for yourselves when you see that.
It's the monster in the closet.
Yeah.
May or may not be there.
All the bells, blow all the whistles, and find no one.
No, they realize it eventually. JR, after clearing things through A, made a pathway towards that B bomb site, flagged things out, said, guys, there's nothing to be afraid of. Get that bomb planted. And while Budapest are likely to get away with the rifle and the SMG, HELLRAISERS, of course, with not the best money, will...
I have a quick question, Yumi.
Of course.
Why does GR sound like a boy band singer? Like, guys, don't worry, we're gonna be fine. Now here's Iris by Google Dolls.
Listen, I do voices. There's nothing to do with my reflection on the flare at all. I'm just... That's just my mood.
Like, you recovered the M4A1 as well. That's quite good. Not the gun itself, but the fact that they recovered a rifle.
Well, of course, HELLRAISERS trying to stabilize their own economy, so not hunting too aggressively. Makes a whole lot of sense. That is the first time we've seen a round on this T side thus far. It's when they get their hands on those rifles. Budapest trying to convert more rounds on this CT side. We had a great showing from them the other day, but HELLRAISERS may prove a more difficult task after doing so much over towards B from Budapest. HELLRAISERS going back to the more traditional approach. The A site execute lined up, the smoke's thrown, and now hope to capitalize on the utility that they've thrown over towards the site, and Jalem even spamming one through to start things off.
Cleve needs to step up with the M4, and he finds the first reposition for more. There you go. Even has a little ninja spot to peek into for the reload. Fleric will be jumping on top to take him down, but Bandito's right behind him to get that counterpunch going. But the ultimate counterpunch is running back towards that B bomb site, where this time they won't be wasting any time checking corners, as they will realize that this site should be empty soon. Ball making its way over, but so is Bandito. He's heard them, he's going for the flank, and this pincer could be massive. But first they have to contend with Kalinka in market.
Yeah, the timing beat here on the flank could be absolutely everything, but it all comes down to where the aggression lies. This fight is crucial for JR, and Bandito comes out ahead. Now it's a 3 versus 1. Kalinka, that forward position, becomes a bit of a crux. He can contain them, but that's where the brunt of the aggression is coming from, and that shot miss, that will likely spell his undoing. Kalinka, can you pull it through? The first one was low HP, but he's low himself now. The tap, it comes on through, and they double peek successfully towards the window. It's well played from Budapest. A good effort, though, from HELLRAISERS, just playing the old switcheroo.
Kalinka missed that first shot, otherwise I think he would have got the 1v3, to be honest. JR as well, not quite there with his immediate headshot accuracy. He was even able to get some damage in, so you know he had the time, but unfortunately crosshair placement and movement not entirely there, and that's to be expected. You know, these mistakes happen, especially when you're an opera. So HELLRAISERS unfortunately not being gifted a round that perhaps would have been their big entry in towards the rounds on the T side, but they do still have a buyout.
No, a bit of aggression on the cards for Budapest. A forward position towards A ramp. They can begin a small rotation over, cheat slightly towards this B bomb site, and that seems to be the right call. HELLRAISERS poised up. Torzi, though, he finds one through middle just before they get themselves up catwalk, and while Problem has slipped on by, he's taken some damage in doing so.
Bandito mollied off, taking the first duel and backs off immediately, even smokes it, so he can actually reposition and still stay a threat. This is very interesting. Bandito needs to peek out soon, though. He knows there's players towards short, and he's taking a duel in a window, but Frash comes out on top. Cleve is still alive, picks up the AK, and gets the finisher. 3 kills for him. Fantastic effort in putting up a defense.
Oh, he didn't get to see it from his perspective. That seemed like it was crisp and clean from Fleeve. Just shot after shot, switching to the AK, the headshot at the end, and well, HELLRAISERS, they just cannot crack these bomb sites without suffering some heavy casualties. They've tried a B side execute, they tried an A side one, and they tapped out of the initial A side execute. So really struggling in terms of getting the numbers advantage in their favor early. Torzi a missed shot. Fleeve will pick up the pieces, and it's just Deagles for the HELLRAISERS side. So once again, they group towards B. This map has been a series of B-sided hits from both teams.
Well, the 5 players over in B are, well, 4 players over in B are not a sight that we haven't seen before by any stretch of imagination, and Budapest 5 will have an easy enough time cleaning them up. Their B-side holes, like we mentioned before, are quite effective, as they keep 4 of their players alive as well. So, you know what? B-Rush is not really working out against Budapest 5. As it turns out, they are the masters of the B-Rush. Of the brush.
Yeah, and maybe it's... I was kind of discounting that Illuminar maybe weren't the most awake for their map of Mirage against Budapest 5. I think they just seem to have an easy time on this CT side. Thus far, we've seen a lot of evidence to support that. They've dealt with these pushes. Although it came down to a few crucial clutches, they have had that advantage all the way through this half, and while Flarit will try his best to get those entries, create some space, he gets the one and he's traded out, but JR is there to make it a small advantage for them.
I mean, CT side is also where if you've got individually skilled players, you do have a chance of just being insane. So it makes sense. Budapest 5, no shortage of skill there. You look at Tozi, you look at Corey, and honestly, pretty much every single player on their lineup has pop-off potential. We saw Coolio yesterday looking insane.
Yep.
So there is always that possibility. Good timing on the Molotov, actually. Jalem is fastered already, but it does give them enough time to get into position. I think Fleeve might have heard that. I'm not sure if that was too far away, though.
Yeah, it spread just slightly, so it spots out Jalem. I mean, he doesn't want to chance it. He backs himself off, tries to feign some movement back towards the B bomb site, but it's all a ruse.
This dual inside connector might be huge because JR, if he swings the wrong time, it will be a mistake. But Coolio's not feeling brave, and Fleeve was too brave. Dorsey left to save this AWP. It's a one rifle that they cannot afford if they want to drop over some M4s in the next round. Dorsey and Corey can actually drop over a couple of guns for themselves, but if you don't save the op, I don't know. I actually think maybe you have one less rifle because of it. So Dorsey is really, really hoping he can take it forward.
Yeah, and it's a late round execute from HELLRAISERS that goes the right way. They hold that man advantage all the way through, and Kalinka's on the hunt. He wants to make sure that the economic situation is as difficult as possible, and Torzy too concerned about behind, only to be shot from behind in the end.
Okay, so wow, they even have. Okay, never mind. They have money for a double op and utility. I don't know how to do this economic stuff.
This is why I sit down, shut up, let you make those calls.
You're getting away with murder right there.
Yeah, but a surprising buy that Budapest have kind of mustered together. Maybe HELLRAISERS lose track of that as well. Maybe don't expect the double up setup. Torzy spotted out, so they know at least one is on field. But HELLRAISERS are approaching towards the A bomb site, and they're hoping to wrap things through. Kalinka, the missed jump. Maybe a different approach must be taken.
Problem. Deal with Badito, and Badito is able to get the first before being overwhelmed. Torzy's still good for one and alive. This double op is not eliminated just quite yet, but Kalinka's making a whole lot of noise, which turns his sights towards him, and Torzy is then taken down by JR because of it. Coolio and Fleeve. It's an impossible retake to go for, given the utility on the T side, and that's why they will end up backing off and saving. I can guarantee that they don't have enough money for a double op in the next round, which is why saving over here would be very beneficial. Torzy, not good for 2 kills though, and that comes back to bite them. He needed to get multiple there.
Yeah, in spite of your track record, I can certainly trust this call. The rifles do need to be saved here from Budapest, and that's why Kalinka once again is hunting. This time Fleeve will get the better of him, and the money is not fully stabilized on the HELLRAISER side either, so committing too many more resources could certainly hurt. So they get to double digits, they crack open that A-bomb site once again, and Budapest, just the 2 recovered rifles, are they going to force around it? Yeah, they are. They're on a decent loss bonus already. I wasn't sure if this was going to be the call by the C2s, but I think they're hoping, like you sort of mentioned, Torzy, he gets one, had to hit the secondary, see if he can get better performance out of that AWP now that's been saved over and given a second chance.
Molotov comes in deep for Torzy, but he has to be careful. He was trying to jump into the window, if I'm not wrong, with the fancy footwork that you can get up to sometimes. But the flashbang will not stop him, neither does the smoke. Repeaks out as well. He's got a fire under his feet, but that fire's burnt him alive. Kalinka now keeping these A-side players at bay with his bullets as he gets one, but not two. It's a 3-on-3. Doable situation for the CTs when you look at numbers, but less so when you look at firepower. Bandito hoping to step out and find something, but something is the Grim Reaper. It's problem, and he swung the sight down on to Budapest 5's chances in this round. Bandito needed to make a move in that smoke earlier, find that diffuser, take him down to give his teammates some time, but at the end of the day, simply is not possible. Torzy, at second repeat, that might have been a mistake.
I mean, he fired off the shot. He had a chance at it, but it's a must hit, right?
Yes.
And well, he didn't. And so HELLRAISERS capitalize on exactly that. Julio trying to contain them, find if the bomb can do enough damage to take these players down. While JR was fully healthy, the bomb will not do enough damage. And so 2 survivors on both sides of the coin, but HELLRAISERS still winning the round. And so they've certainly picked into a bit of momentum here on this T side. In Budapest, they'll have to eventually call for the save, seeing some pistols brought through, just the 2 recovered rifles. They will eventually make that decision. We've not seen too many anti-ecos in this game thus far, and we haven't seen any surprises as a result.
Believe has a Deagle and Kevlar, man. I really don't like that. Unless you're planning on picking up the AK or the FAMAS, if you're expecting it to potentially go down, that's invincible. Bandito is trying to be the good old, oh hey, they're not going to expect 2 players in under Palace, and indeed they don't, but Corey's only good for 1 still, which means that this could be troubling. The smoke is there preemptively. Corey knows he doesn't have the HP to play around much, and that's why he does end up backing off. And with him, HELLRAISERS has also decided, hey, you know what? Kalinka's found all this control over towards that B-bomb site. Let's move back. But you have to be careful because they could be caught out. Let's keep an eye on Torzy if we can, because Torzy's positioning is fantastic. He could be cutting off JR as he moves back. JR will be able to find Fleeve, and as a result of that, might be expecting that, oh, hey, there's just 1 player there. We're fine. But he's going to have the discipline. He's going to stick around. The problem will find Corey in the meanwhile. Question is, can Torzy get any kills over here? If you can take JR's op away, that's huge. JR's only got a pistol out in his hands right now, but Torzy doesn't know that.
Yeah, the classic bait from Corey to start off the round. Again, it's Torzy with another AK. Tried to use those pistols to at least get some information for these rifles to operate off of, but is Torzy gonna even try it? I mean, that's an ult. He surely wants to get his hands on that. It's an enticing frag to find, but not taking that risk, instead playing the more passive approach. He can drop that rifle over and hopefully get his hands on the scoped one that he's been desperate for.
You can see why he took the AK forward, though. Fleeve didn't have the best of money in the world because he bought up the Deagle Kevlar. Flashes to go out. 4 players on top mid. This is a very mid-heavy approach, which hasn't worked out for them so far. CTs are getting ready to put 3 players there as well. JR fully flashed up, doesn't pull that trigger, otherwise it could have been a big kill. But he will find it later on, though, so he's made up for what was missing.
Very standard approach here from Budapest. Nothing really changing surrounding that double AWP presence. Torzy posted up towards B. They've got that other one on the EA bomb side as well. So 2 pillars of attack, or rather defense, for the Budapest 5 lineup. HELLRAISERS, once again, sort of culminating towards the B bomb side. But they've found that primary op. They found where Torzy's position, and maybe they back themselves out of this. Maybe they honor that capacity that he has with that weapon, but considering the track record, how things have been going in this half for Torzy, they're going to continue to push forward, see if they can put some pressure onto him.
Ooh. Holding that angle in online is always just... It's a gamble. It doesn't seem very reliable. It only seems to work if they're going to peek you twice, but it isn't the case over here. He's fine with all the kills that have come through early on, though, so he can just use the information to his advantage. 20 seconds on the clock. Torzy peeks out. can't find the kill, but Corey will. And with that, they should be able to recover the double off, but they lose a lot of players. And as a result of that, oh, they don't even recover. Oh, that's really big, actually. Their loss bonus is at 2,400 right now.
Still investing into it.
God, I hate this.
Well, they win the round, right? So they get the bonus from that, of course. So that's all fine and dandy. It does mean that they have no buffer on any of the players, right? If they had saved that AWP over, they'd have a little bit more cash to work off of in future rounds. But it's all about the round ahead of them. They are closer and closer towards at least guaranteeing the overtime. No rug pulled out from under them, as HELLRAISERS are certainly pulling this back. JR's alone just toying with the AWP over at the B bomb site, and meanwhile HELLRAISERS will try and spring on towards A, hoping that the attention is completely diverted. And while Corey, oh, beautiful set of kills, the nade, the M4 kill as well, and while JR tries to rendezvous with the rest of his team, he'll be a little bit late. HELLRAISERS, they have to meet with a fully rotated to A bomb site. All 4 players of Budapest here.
HELLRAISERS, this is a play that hasn't gone too well for them. I thought in the beginning they might have gotten a bit lucky with Corey's missed shots, but Corey does not continue that trend. He does come through. JLM equalizing and JR adding one more puts them in an advantage though. So Budapest 5 in this retake are suddenly finding themselves strapped for options. And those options will continue to dwindle. The smoke comes through. Maybe that gives Torzy enough space to work around with, but that also gives Kalinka a lot of room to just move through that little murder hole and try and take them down. He decides to go for the jump instead over to short. It doesn't quite land it, and as a result of that, maybe they're able to save these weapons. They do seem to be in position to do so. And HELLRAISERS, what a post plant, man.
Yeah.
Really nicely done.
The fact that they're able to isolate Badito, who is playing so passively in the ladder room as well, it's made things more and more difficult. Like you said, there's options quickly cascading away from them. Finally, a timeout called from Budapest as things are looking dire. HELLRAISERS have chained together quite a few rounds. There's a blip on the radar, but there's nothing too much. There's not too much concern being brought forward as of right now. In spite of Torzy having a great T side, he has missed some crucial shots on that AWP that HELLRAISERS are certainly thankful for.
I'm very torn on what HELLRAISERS needs to do at this point, because mid control hasn't been working out for them too well. The B bomb site's a 50-50, but against Budapest 5 it seems to be more like a 30-70 where Budapest 5 is likely to win it. They've had some success in late A hits pretty consistently though, and I'm expecting them to go for that. But with Budapest 5 now adjusting to get this aggressive with Coolio, I will always be worried, because at this point, this is the big round which you can never afford to lose, and HELLRAISERS knows that. That's where you're going to make the mistakes. Torzy finds it first, re-peeks out, and he will end up backing off immediately afterwards. So Torzy, even going the very slow route around, and Coolio with the AUG is ready. JR misses a shot though, and Coolio takes him down. Torzy was trying to get aggressive. Coolio's buying so much time. It's a 3 versus 3, but these remaining CTs don't really have the weaponry to get anything out. Unfortunately, no one was watching for mid. No one was watching for JR to be coming in, and when JR's shot was fired off and missed, Torzy felt too much pressure to get aggressive.
Well, Badito tries, he might. It's just a USP. Corey with the deagle. There's certainly a chance, a world that could happen, but Flarich makes sure that that's not a possibility. The fact that JR gets so far up through the connector to the top stairs to flank those players out, that's a huge hole that's identified and exploited. And although JR doesn't hit that shot, like you said, just the fact that there's presence draws the attention from that CT side. Panic sets in at that point, because you're not long for this world when you're getting approached from 3 different angles from.
JR scoped in. But these Molotovs... Well, HELLRAISERS is again just trying to find some sort of a pick first, but unfortunately Corey's got the AWP this time and he just immediately snipes him out. And with that, you lose one of your big playmakers potentially. The B-bomb side is what they're setting up for, but Budapest 5 has historically been very strong on that themselves.
Yeah. This
time though, HELLRAISERS might be walking into a trap because Budapest 5 has been very good at knowing when to gamble. And this time, they're saying no. We're sticking to a default. We're staying on the A side. We have the advantage.
Oh, a boost in towards the window. Oh, noise made by both of the players, in fact. So that sneaky, beaky moment not going to be quite realized for HELLRAISERS. Fleeve, that noise made, of course, spamming a few shots, see if he can find some damage. And while they linger on the other side of that smoke, now they'll pull the trigger, pushing through it. Fleeve, first kill is easy, but Kalinka finds them around the edge of it. It's a 1-for-1 exchange as they hope to encapsulate this A bomb site. A trade in name alone, as they still keep things fairly even, but that could be the kill that changes everything. JLam, 1 versus 3 now from the balcony.
Flashbang will not be... Oh, that's a smoke, actually. That smoke goes out to the connector. JLam is brought down by towards his USP. It's just insult to injury, unfortunately, being taken down by that pistol. They will have a buy. HELLRAISERS do have enough of an economy to be able to pull that out, but they have to fight for overtime. They are consistently running into the brick wall of Budapest 5 in losing early opening picks, man.
Yep, and a timeout the other way. HELLRAISERS has done a great job. They were streaky, and they had this spree going for them to start off this T side, but Budapest have answered with some pretty crucial rounds. Having that lead to start off on the start of the half, things went Budapest 5's way. HELLRAISERS answered back in a big way, but now it's crunch time, and Budapest have really delivered. Like you said, those early kills going their way, and not even typically by Torzy. It's Corey on the secondary ult that's had a world of impact for them. And while JR is up to his antics, he's finding ways to flank players out where they least expect it. HELLRAISERS cannot get a clean round as of late.
Smoke over in to mid. Budapest 5 is gambling for B yet again, early on at least. And the question is, are they going to be pushing? Because HELLRAISERS looks to be just wrapping around for a boost into jungle yet again. Hopefully this time they don't drop down, but Badito around the corner is someone who you maybe have to deal with. Kalinka moving up into the smoke he goes. And very interesting set of smokes actually coming out in the entry of jungle. Ooh. Where Kalinka is able to move past. He finds his CT. Torsi is down. That smoke allows that. And with that, there's only Corey to deal with. Corey is wondering whether he needs to get aggressive and get on top of this ticket box, but he's got a world of trouble to deal with.
The Molotov, the nade, he gets burnt to a crisp. Things going right, left and right for HELLRAISERS. That great position from Kalinka still being held as well. The 3 versus 5, can they pull it back? So far, no. And well, it all falls from there. HELLRAISERS, the boost through window, it reaps so many rewards for them.
That was also such a strange set of smokes thrown by them, where I've never seen that before. I don't know, maybe you have, because I've been looking for that one smoke for a while that they threw, and I haven't been able to find it. Which is where they smoked off the CT side entrance into jungle into Sniper's Nest from jungle, and they smoked off top connector simultaneously, which allowed the player to move past the smoke and find that. That was very interesting.
Yeah, very, very niche as well, right? They had a particular objective in mind in doing so. I think if you're trying to smoke off that CT side of jungle, it has to be thrown from middle as well. So going for that early mid pressure is it's a big part of the reason why they set up in that manner on the HELLRAISERS side. Yeah, I don't think I know the lineup particularly. I think I explored that idea one time or another, but I'd never seen that pulled through in an official match.
Yeah. And to the people who are wondering, oh, I could probably figure out that lineup. Well, actually, it's because there's these 4 very thin lines of wood that are above jungle that aren't even visible if you're underneath them. That's how thin they are. They block the smoke. So oh my god, I had such a no.
What a round to pull it out as well.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
14-15, you need this round to guarantee the overtime, and well, it works exactly as drawn up.
I think they were trying in the previous round too, though, because they missed the smoke. I mean, they missed the jump, and they only threw that smoke once the jump came through. So, that's just a bit of an interesting situation to find themselves in. Yet again, they know exactly what they need in terms of their timings. They know exactly how to get them across, and it's not something that would probably work if someone like Astralis and whatnot are doing it, because you're just going to get used to checking for boost. But for HELLRAISERS, who probably aren't going to be researched to the same extent, to be able to pull out some cheesy strats in Mirage here and there are always really, really good to see.
Well, regulations behind us. Now we're into our overtime. Of course, 16k for the 3 rounds of play on each side. The money is no issue, and with Budapest having that economic security, they're looking to take a few more risks. Pushing through towards A. Flarich, the smoke gives him up. He throws the utility he was supposed to, but no flashes off the back of it. HELLRAISERS still pushing forward, and Torzy, the shot just around the smoke.
Torzy still is very wary of JR, but JR's got the bomb, so he knows he needs to make a move as well. Instead, he's waiting for Kalinka to potentially find some sort of information, but Kalinka is downed and out. Torzy to add yet another kill to his tally. Problem taking a long-range duel, which he felt like he had to go for, but JR at this point, 1 versus 4, pulls out his knife, switches back, but unfortunately that will be his demise. Corey gets that kill, takes him down, and HELLRAISERS probably thankful that didn't happen in the previous round.
Yeah, and good presence of mind from the B site players from Budapest, not getting too overzealous, pushing through spawn, trying to get a foothold on that A bomb site. They know they have the numbers advantage, so they just play from kitchen or play from market for as long as possible, waiting for the HELLRAISERS response, and it comes to them eventually. Budapest, ooh, a change of pace once again. Aggression from A before, now through middle. JR around the smoke, they'll go, and they don't actually check for him. It's a no-scope from him as he turns himself around. JR, does he know there's a secondary player there? They end up tracking him down. So that push from the CT side, sure, they get 1 kill to their name, but it's not going to be a favorable trade.
The only person to even find a kill was the person who was in the back lines with an AUG.
Yeah.
He's just trying to spray through the smoke, and that's Coolio. So TT's over here not going for a gamble stack. They know that it's time for their individuals to hopefully pop off, but they need their AWPs to be doing so. Torzy is not in a great position to prevent this push from apartments from coming through, though, and he's realized it, so he's backing off. And when the smoke comes in towards short, he's just double guessing himself. Molotov, oh no, that Molly went out directly into the apartments. That could have been very big. Torzy's not feeling brave enough to take the peek, though, and these 3 players on this B bomb site, well, they've made the correct decision. Corey is here to support Torzy as well, but HELLRAISERS, they're ready to move back through underpass should there be information.
Yeah, JR is clearing things out with his AWP. This might be a flanking presence, but I think Coolio's watching for that flank. He's waiting for JR to make that move, and that's the equalizing frag that they needed. They know that their sights are set on B. Torzy, the shot as he just catches the head, and another headshot with the AWP. Flarich, he's got some space on the bomb site. He's gone on track for now, but he needs to hit some beautiful shots, and although there's 1 adjustment, 3 adjustments is a bit too many. A Budapest 5 round, a slow approach from HELLRAISERS comes back to bite them.
I thought for a second Crash was just going to have 2 sick 1-taps the way he was going in between players, but unfortunately it is just a hallmark of confusion. Budapest 5, though, 2 rounds up, looking to get the clean sweep on their CT side. Of course, money will never really be an issue for either team when you're up in 16k territory, but flashes, smokes, the works going out. Torzy Peeking in, he's got a gap in the smoke to work with, but it's not a significant one. Can't quite find the kill off the back of that. JR in the meanwhile does jump into the jungle. But that is where the lion awaits, and that lion has been felled. It's man meets beast, and man's got himself a pretty big old gun.
JR playing like he's got a rifle in his hands, but it's an AWP just running around the map trying to create space for his team. It's this pressure from A ramp that eventually is undoing. But HELLRAISERS, they want to take control of this site as quickly as possible. They hear these rotations coming on through. Is a double-pronged assault on the retake for the CTs, and as they try to get this bomb planted, the smokes will come through to buy them a bit more time. But Dido trying to get above it. There's the kill to find a man advantage coming on into this retake. And while JLam is up to antics, lingering in smokes himself, he's trying to catch a player off guard. He runs out of bullets, and now it's just Kalinka. A 1 versus 4 with the AWP. It has to be beautiful, it has to be magnificent, and it falls ever so short. Corey with 3 on the AWP. It's 3 in a row in overtime for Budapest 5.
And that flank coming in to get the pincer could have been completely undone, but like you said, the linchpin of that round is a lack of bullets in an AK-47. It's heartbreaking for HELLRAISERS, but you said they needed to be beautiful, they needed to be magnificent. Unfortunately, they materialize your demands in tragedy rather than in happiness.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I have to give credit where credit's due. Budapest called that CT side very, very well. And although HELLRAISERS were causing a lot of chaos, getting JR into great positions, getting some crucial shots being hit by some of their players, Budapest were just a little bit more concise, a little bit more firm in their decision making.
Believe. Smokes and nades and mollies and flashes, grenades and utility all over the place. But it's shots that matter at the end of the day. Kalinka's hitting them. Problem comes in, but can't quite step up. Kalinka with the AWP playing around empty pillar will now find himself be the empty man. JR on the flank, can't find much so far, has chucked out a flashbang, but it works against him. And in the meanwhile, the T's have decided not to chase. They know they're a breath away from victory, and now it's just one man left. It's JLam against the world. They're very low. He has a chance with the M4A4 wanting to peek out. The AWP misses its shot. JLam is going forward, but they're playing peekaboo. They're dodging all of his bullets, and it will be the 19th round for Budapest 5. They do manage to take game number 1.
We thought it might be kind of going this direction when we saw the vetoes, but a really toughly fought game from both sides. Budapest rallying in the overtime. They were absent for so much of their CT side. HELLRAISERS doing such a good job of picking them apart, but then we get into the OT and they just take all the initiative. They push through A, they push through mid, and they set up into some gamble stacks to win them one of those rounds in that overtime CT side. I think that when we isolate just their CT side overtime, very, very well called. When you look at the whole game as a whole, it took a long time to get there.
Well, listen, it's about when you get there, where you get there, you know, all those good things that you say. But where we're getting now and when we're getting is into the second map. And that second map will be Vertigo, which should be very interesting. I thought that Mirage would be a one-sided affair for Budapest 5. I thought Vertigo would be a one-sided affair for the other side. So at this point, what we've learned is that I really don't know much, and you have to wait to find out. So we'll be back after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back. Malta Vibes brought to you by Gaming Malta, home of gaming excellence. Yumi, sitting right here next to me, is probably just as excited as I am, if not more so, about the fact that we're about to watch a map number 2 between these two teams that just battled it out to a overtime. It's going to be Vertigo. This one is, of course, the map pick of HELLRAISERS Budapest 5 taking Mirage.
Yeah, and now that we end up on Vertigo, obviously picked by HELLRAISERS, as it's not really a map that Budapest play too often. It's a good map to find ourselves on for a call back, an answer back by HELLRAISERS. It took them a little bit of time to really find a consistent stride in that Mirage game, and so you expect with the deeper sort of knowledge that they've got available to themselves, the deeper sample size of games to call on, that this should be an easy enough endeavor. But this could be a closet pick. This could be the trap card for Budapest. Maybe they've got something more prepared than we're anticipating.
You never really know because, we've said a few times this lineup is relatively new compared to how ancient the general Budapest 5 core and going back into the days when there were Salamander stretches out to. So maybe they've scrimmed this. Maybe they're willing to play it, which is the reason why they've let it through. It is, of course, probably one of the best times you could as well, because it's against HELLRAISERS, which is a team who themselves don't have that much success on it to the same extent either. So you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, sure, there is this entire thing about, well, we're not very good at it, so maybe we should feel scared picking it. But if we've practiced it, it's always good to bring it out against someone who themselves hasn't really got the best of win rates on it too. So HELLRAISERS would be an ideal opponent in that case. But obviously, that's just me theory crafting. That's what I would say if I was there. But at the same time, they could have also not practiced it, and they could also not be ready, and they could be relying on the individuals.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very likely prospect. But with the, I don't know. I love this sort of like conspiracy theory of teams picking maps that they never play, only for it to then be this sort of trump card. You get those sort of flashbacks to an older day where you'd think they've got Vertigo under lock and key, then Astralis come out of nowhere and just completely hard anti-strat them. I don't think anti-stratting is really on the cards here, but if they are more prepared than I suppose we're expecting or HELLRAISERS are expecting, then I could see this being a 2-0. I'm still standing behind this these Hungarian boys.
Well, I mean, I could also say that when you talked about that, the other example that came to mind was actually Complexity earlier this year against Astralis, who let Inferno through, and everyone's saying, oh yeah, they're losing on Inferno online all over the place. That's never going to work out for them. But turned out it was actually their best map, and they were just hiding it. So, definitely some days of conspiracy is still around. Still some strats to be saved for the major, so to speak. But they're going to be saving some strats for Malta Vibes, and Lootbed is going to be giving us some saving grace for HELLRAISERS. Our boys, our partners, our friends, our lads think that HELLRAISERS should be coming out on top. And who am I to disagree with the lads?
Yep, they've been pretty good. They've been pretty on the ball, especially today. They started things out 50-50 last time round, but I mean, look at the aggression from HELLRAISERS. They pushed through all of the B bomb site, lest they find out that Budapest are actually on A, but that sets themselves up for a good retake here. They don't have a kit, they don't have the smoke or really any nades to prevent the plant, but this fast flank is going to catch them, Budapest 5 completely off guard. Kalinka with 2. They finally deal with that presence from behind, but they've lost the site.
Flarich misses way too many shots over there. And Jalem, he fakes out the stick, and that's causing the double peek to come in. But Corey's so good with these pistols every single time. You see him being the one coming in with multiple kills on the Budapest 5 side. And you know what? Maybe it's conspiracy theory time. Maybe it's time to say, hey, boys, what's up now? We got some scrims in.
Well, it didn't seem like the most elaborate strategy, a very orthodox approach to the A site.
Plan. That's an execute, okay.
Yeah, they know, at least know some basic lineups, right? So, I mean, at the very least, they're putting that much practice in, but whether practicality transfers over to their gun rounds, that still remains to be seen, but there'll be a few between us and those gun rounds still. The force buy from HELLRAISERS, the SMGs, they're making a lot of presence towards A. And no real surprises this time around. No fast play from those B-side players.
JR peeking through. Fleeve is spotted and he's brought down. It's Kalinka to get the kill, and that's all the better for them. They get that sweet, beautiful $600. Switch out to the Deagle and let JR have a spin with that old ping.
Told you he's found a kill, but the boost in from HELLRAISERS, a good response. Still keeping that man advantage, making sure that not too many of those AKs are flying about. Corey with his own AK, peering into the site, catches a glimpse of one of these players. The long distance doesn't favor the SMGs, and so he'll come out ahead. JR, the flash is perfect, fully blinded up. He was the last real defender of that A bomb site, and so caught out, exposed. Budapest, another post plant to play with. There's a flank available. Flarich making his way down the ladder. He's hoping to catch them out from behind, but not going to be able to hit those initial shots.
Flarich peeking out. Flarich has not been having a great game. I will say, problem is getting a couple of good shots in though. And with that kit that he's also got, remember, sneaking something away is very, very possible, especially if they're not able to get the spray. But Coolio comes in from the side, and Coolio's angle was just slightly better for that because, of course, he had the straight vertical angle where he kills him no matter what spot he's in. So it's saved. You don't need to hold your breath right now, Yuumi, but definitely a world where you did.
Well, you started out of breath. I was there holding my breath. I wasn't sure if they're going to be able to get the spray initially. He dodged so many of those bullets without even really moving his model around at all. And, well, ultimately a null point. The Budapest 5 lineup now just trying to have a clean anti-eco. How does JR get away from that?
Even Badito's in disbelief. He just keeps the left click pressing. Why are you not dying? I don't know why he sounds like the Terminator.
We're putting all sorts of voices on these players, it seems. First the boy band, now the Terminator.
I mean, maybe it's a Terminator boy band. You never know. The T-1000 gonna get your soul, but Fleeve gonna get your head. Dorsey comes through with more, and Corey's always ready to follow up. Fleeve, he's not done yet, though, because he's got 2 kills for himself. And yes, he's anti-ecos, but you know what? They're clean. They're crisp. They're beautiful. That's what they are. Clean, crisp, and beautiful. That's a Terminator boy band name.
Wow. That's sounds like a horror film, to be honest. I don't think I'd be lining up to see that one in theaters. JR, no, it's a duel he's all too familiar with. Medito got him down to this HP. He's not quite able to finish it off. He could have farmed that extra cash on the SMG, you know, feeling a little bit hard pressed that his teammates would nick that from underneath him. But Budapest have gotten off to a good start, not suffering too many casualties in these rounds. They're building up a little bit more money, but now that the HELLRAISERS buy comes through, of course, the SMG out of Badito's hands, he upgrades himself, and they'll see if they can meet them head on. This is where we get to see whether that preparation that we maybe didn't expect from Budapest to come into this map, whether that's actually a tangible asset for them in this series.
Budapest 5 is heavily prioritizing mid control right now, but you can say the same about the CTs. Flarich ready to get busy, get jiggy, and get feisty. Fleeve, though, is the one who comes out early with the pickoff. And again, over towards ramp they go. They have full control, and the CTs seem to be on the cusp of deciding to save regardless of the outcome. So far, though, they're biding their time and hoping that Budapest 5 will suffer a bout of indecision and move over towards the other side.
Well, JR is still here with his AWP, peering in one of the sight lines towards a ramp. The smoke will deny some vision from a supporting teammate, but of course that jump up is always possible. Kalinka makes sure to get in position. And utility is still sailing over, but not many players from Budapest, not making use of that utility as of yet.
Flash comes in, blinds out the Budapest 5 boys. The high flash is actually very on point. Belferic avoids it to reposition and go for more. Unfortunately, one's all he can get, and the rest of his team is no different as they can't find anything. Budapest 5 is overwhelming HELLRAISERS at this point on this bomb site.
Yeah, just the entries they get, the space that's created. I mean, every one of the HELLRAISERS players was there. They were ready to meet Budapest head on that A bomb site, and it just didn't seem like they were able to hit their shots. Just the ability to, like you said, overwhelm those players. In spite of them being stagnant towards A, they're finding these early picks and just running with it. Badito starts things off again with an entry against the pistols, and well, eventually he does get tracked down. That's an AK that can be recovered, but HELLRAISERS, they've lost their A site anchor.
At this point, you just want Problem to be able to get a Zeus kill at the very least. You know, get yourself something extra. The Molotovs won't matter too much, but Problem does finish them off. Oh, okay, never mind. The HUD is out of date. He has an AK. Maybe the Zeus is prioritized over. That's possible. Torzi to take down JR, and there's a second one there and then.
Right. Maybe there isn't this overwhelming strategy from Budapest coming into this, but they're just hitting their shots. At the moment, it seems as though in straight up gunfights, HELLRAISERS are consistently coming out on the back foot. Maybe that turns around with this gun round from them. And as of right now, things are looking up for Budapest. Our partners over at LootBet, you know, they had one way of thinking. They looked at the statistics, as did we, but Budapest are going against the odds here.
Problem takes away Coolio's life. That is, at least, I think that's the first time they started off with a man advantage, and they're more than happy to double it up as Flairage comes in with another quick one. But Fleeve on this A bomb site wants to get busy with Jalem, who's caught with a grenade in his hand, and that's not even going to be flying out. Molotov from the CT side will do what they can, but a grenade follow-up doesn't do much damage. Kalinka's barely tagged down, but the bomb can be planted. They're not spraying through, and because of that, it's suddenly a 3 versus 4. Torzi trying to hide away and fire back. It's Corey to find the kill, though, and a smoke being missed is a huge issue. They can't isolate away Ali, and Torzi's position is known as he does fall. Cleve needs to defend this all on his lonesome, trying to isolate the fuels, and he will find one, but that'll be it.
A retake that finally works in favor of HELLRAISERS. Some great kills from Flairage, 3 in this round. And those early advantages, those early picks that HELLRAISERS get go a long, long way. And I think you were right in saying that it was the first time they'd had an early advantage in any of these rounds. So maybe some good signs for HELLRAISERS in these rounds still to come. Of course, with the 5 in a row that Budapest accumulated, they've got some money to reinvest. And this is the thing. They've been going for these isolated duels, and while Budapest have come out ahead in a number of those to start off the rounds, if things start to swing the other direction, you could definitely see HELLRAISERS coming back into this one, being a much more dominant force.
JR doesn't quite catch out the hopping around terrorist player, but I like that he's getting aggressive at least. Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Gets the quick one onto Torzi. Of course, Corey will be coming in with another one of his own. It's a 4v4. The CTs are in excellent position to defend, though.
Oh, Corey's got a lot of ground for Budapest now to operate off of. They've still got a presence into the middle as well. They're hoping to wrap in towards the site. Badito catching one on the rotation. And while the bomb makes its way over, Kalinka will take that time to get some more ground right back. Still a big problem for them to deal with on the site. Finally dealt with, but another problem arises moving through the smoke, and they've actually doubled back. They want nothing to do with this. They expect Problem to be in his position, and he'll fire off some shots just out of spite. Budapest, they've rotated the correct direction, and Problem has to kind of trail away, hoping to catch them in that same position. He's still concerned about that lurking pressure, though.
Going for the 1v3 over here seems like a foolhardy decision, but maybe he can catch out a quick duel with Fleeve He's not expecting it though. Fleave's foot was seen, but maybe not on his screen. Maybe that's just for us. Fleave repositions and he will go down. He didn't have much HP in the first place, but problem finding that one kill is going to be okay with that. Probably not okay with it, but we'll have to say all right to it regardless. Very good attempt from Kalinka to be able to defend that A bomb site for a little while longer. Unfortunately, a slightly whiffed spray means that it turns into a 1 versus 3 rather than a 2v2, and that could be all the reason why they end up being reset immediately after winning of 1 round. Well, not reset, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of in awe. I was not expecting this scoreline to come out so rapidly for Budapest. 6 already for them is just a great call out. But what's another great call out is, of course, our partners over at Hellcase. They're the biggest and most well-known opening website or case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase, and you can use those promo codes to save yourself some money and maybe grab what you deserve.
There you have it. I did find it. I did get an internal chuckle when you accidentally said most known opening website. I'm like, huh?
Opening of what?
Opening website.
What do you
opening?
mean?
It's called Hellcase. They must be opening hell. No. Of course, it's the biggest case opening website. Fantastic service and whatnot. All the good stuff from them. Also, they partnered up with us, which is also quite nice of them. Yeah.
Nice guys.
Yeah. Problem. Peeks out. Coolio will be able to find him and take him down, though. Unfortunately, JR can trade, as Hellraisers are not going to want to be taken out at all. Jalen as well with the Deagle comes in with another one, but he's getting overzealous, felt the pressure, wanted to recover the gun or get another kill. At least he does get some damage in, so this AK and the Deagle both can make very quick work of most of these Budapest 5 players.
Well, one immediate threat in JR on the bomb site. The smokes will make things a little bit more difficult. Repositions, tries to get an angle above the smoke. Kalinka on the flank, though, he's looking every which way, and there's more players than he expects coming his direction. They haven't really set their sights on A as of yet. Still very concerned, very open to the possibility of wrapping back around, and so Hellraisers have to respect that. JR, now the smokes have faded, this becomes a little bit easier for him to operate off of, but they're still concerned about a Hellraisers flank.
Oh, 40 seconds left on the clock. There is also the possibility of them just fooling Hellraisers into making the mistake, but because... Oh, all right. This is a very late rotation coming out back towards the B bomb side, and it will be working out in their favor because Flarix has come into alley. Flarix is checking all these angles, and until he's taken a peek down ramp, they won't know, and now they can make the call to rotate over, but it's too late. There may not be much utility on the T side, but they've got that one Molotov, which is enough for them to guarantee a bomb plant at the very least, and they won't even need to expend that. It comes in for post plant instead, making sure that Hellraisers has got to save.
Yeah, they still seem to be going for a bit of an effort here. The round score may tempt them into it. Losing so many rounds on that CT side, they cleared things out from behind. JR looked for an opening opportunity, but not being given anything. Now I think it's just about containment. Deal as much damage to that T-side economy as possible. Flarich does seem poised up to do so, as does JR. So not many exiting chances for Budapest, not many open pathways. Flarich finds one, and while these two players are healthy enough to survive from the bomb, Flarich, yeah, he's going to try and deal more damage, but he loses his rifle in doing so.
I have a significantly less important point to make. You see that little workers cap in front of JR?
Yep.
There's 2 more of those hung on the right side too. It would be cool if just for an April Fool's event, Counter-Strike just made it so it was possible to pick that up and pistol run, and that serves as your helmet.
Right, I really hope you don't get invited to the events team over at CS. I feel all hell will break loose.
Would be a fun day. Just go onto it, someone finds out you can accidentally pick it up and equip it. Most broken pistol rounds of all time.
Yeah, I mean, safety first.
Yep, indeed. There is no safety in firing guns at each other, though. Please do keep that in mind. JR, he doesn't care for safety. He cares for danger. He's a man of adrenaline. He's a man of killing people. But unfortunately, he's been swayed by the utility and now will not be able to do so. Dralem looking to take a peek, but he knows there's a one-way smoke in front of him potentially. It's instead going to be JR to peek out, waits for the push to come in. Corey's visible, and Corey is annihilated.
Yeah, Fleeve trying desperately to pull a frag back. JR a shot through, keeping him distracted. Jalem's really the linchpin of this round, at making sure that if Budapest don't clear this out with a Molotov, that he can do a lot of damage. As of right now, they don't seem too concerned. J-Lam, oh, the timing is good. The first kill in, the flash as well. He's trying to buy as much time as possible for his side to operate off of, and J-Lam's doing it all. He's keeping them preoccupied. Flarich coming in to support, but eventually they deal with that sandbags player. The damage is done. Budapest now just on the 2 players left to approach this bomb site. Not a lot of time to operate off of, and things are looking good for Hellraisers on the CT side in this particular round. That small adaptation goes a long way. Flarich, another kill on Fleeve, and Torzi fire as he might. Flarich makes sure that he cannot escape with the AWP, and there's even the opportunity, if they wanted to upgrade into that secondary, but not feeling it on Vertigo.
Really nicely played from Hellraisers. Their setup is excellent in contesting for ramp early on. JR puts himself into a position where they have to use a couple of mollies in alley if they want to flush him out, and because of that, the T side will almost never have utility to be able to take away Sandbag's presence if they want to have anything for the site itself. As a result, Jalem comes in, dominates that round practically on his lonesome, and off the back of that, some very good stuff. Budapest 5 are now being very quickly inconvenienced by the fact that they're not taking fast alley control. They're not pushing anyone through the CT ramp smoke. They're not really able to get proactive early, but they decide to turn around and go over towards that B-bomb site where they see a head. But can that head be removed? Problem, flashing over, will be caught out from the side, but he's not down yet. It's Corey to find that trade, but Kalinka's here to provide backup. Kalinka will continue fighting, and that fight is won. Torzi next in line to fall, and Coolio and Fleeve, and now it's just Coolio.
Yeah, 1 versus 4 is a monumental task. Kalinka's low HP, so I mean, he's a pretty open frag for him. Coolio, oh, he's trying to play a bit of bait and switch. The sound cue's given up. Kalinka taken down, but he's just the scout. He's just trying to get some information. Coolio now trapped in the corner. He's trying pretty desperately to stay alive, make this inconvenient for Hellraisers. Now it's just the waiting game, though. Do they think he's walking back towards A? The steps seem to indicate there's at least the chance.
You can start to see the slight discomfort at points from Budapest 5, not expecting, you know, not expecting that they'd have to pre-fire on top of the self-boost. Even though they were checking the orange boxes, but they were checking the right and left either side. Unfortunately for them, wasn't quite the correct crosshair placement that you need to take care of that. At the end of it all, though, they decide to let all their players die, get some money instead. Problem, also managing to stay alive is huge. Unfortunately, he gets the kill on Badito. Otherwise, that could have been a very different round. And, you know, very well played by him. He's the one who managed to delay them, draw them in, bait them out for Kalinka. So excellent round from Problem, but he did very, very much get slightly lucky in Badito not killing.
No, pistols once again from the T side, this time just rushing in through middle. The nades bombard them down. Flarich there with the rifles as well. Okay. There's 3 players from Hellraiser. It's easy cleanup on that CT side.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just go into the gun round is what Budapest 5 says, and we say, all right, let's go. Let's do this.
I think they're already happy with 7.
I still don't know if Vertigo is T-sider or CT-sider, to be honest.
I think when you get higher into teams that play Vertigo a lot, I feel definitely CT-sided, just because the reactions and the protocols are just so much stronger. It feels like you can react a lot better. But when it comes into this, where neither team is all too comfortable, this T side does feel like it has the advantage. Sharp shot from Corey, instantly traded back by Jaylam, and he's not quite done yet. Around the smoke he goes, above it and beyond, but after 2, that's all he gets. A fast flank available. JR there with the AWP as well, and they cannot track him down as of yet. The smoke delays things further. Coolio hot on his heels. It's the 2 versus 3, 2 HP on Coolio. He's trying to find the right timing to catch JR out, but JR just too sharp, too fast on the trigger, and they cannot get the bomb down. Another round for HELLRAISERS.
Again, just another instance where Budapest 5 is not entirely ready on this map the same way they might be on another one. Badito checks his right side despite his teammates still keeping an eye out there because he's worried that his teammates aren't covering that exact angle where he can go down to. Maybe just a bad call coming in, maybe some sort of communication problem, but something goes wrong there, which is why he darts his mouse away. Otherwise, his crosshair was right where JR's head would have emerged. JR, a menace in that round, and as a result of that, they're able to get themselves to 5 and probably to 6 unless these deagles come out big.
Yep, the weather forecast is looking good. Don't think pistols on the horizon. Jumping MP9s is instead what we get on our forecast. And, well, that's a concerning weather update. There's a B bomb site that has minimal presence over. Kalinka dying. That's a bit of an issue. That could get this bomb planted, but Flaric sweeps up the rest. Torzi nowhere near either of those 2 players. Just kind of being a lurking presence for the Budapest 5 side. And I don't think he accomplishes too much here.
Well, I think you're right, but I am kind of concerned about the fact that they're not letting Torzi get the AWP though. The off and up deals are very, very impactful in Vertigo, especially when we've seen in the first 3 rounds he was going for it, wasn't he?
We have seen him with it, I think, twice this half.
Yeah, so he can go for it. He's comfortable, or reasonably. But that's worrying. Now, Fleeve, he has the spawn to take the first quick peek. Question is, can he find any kills, though? Jaylam is trying to work his goodness all over again. Got himself his mini one-way smoke where he can try and find a quick kill. Fleeve, however, scoped in would have been his demise. As a result of that, we'll end up backing off. Torzi is just patiently waiting. He's saying, Fleeve, give me back the op already. Fleeve, unfortunately, doesn't get to play around with it too much. It's always Corey and Torzi who take it away. So he's just, he's having some good times with it.
Well, JR's been unrelenting towards this lane position. JR, once again, will trade things back with the AWP. Fleeve showing his own AWP, but JR's not done. Okay, this is just a JR round. Shuts down the A side push entirely. Coolio left in a 1 versus 4. The bomb in a very exposed position, and it's not looking all too likely he gets his hands on this, gets away, but they're not peeking for it. They're allowing him that space. I actually thought it was a little bit deeper in towards the A ramp, but actually in a much safer position. So he can reposition, he can move back towards B. It does seem like the more vacant of the 2 sites. There's only really problem lingering over that direction.
Coolio, this is the round where he knows he needs to pull out a rabbit from his hat, because next one they don't have a buy. Even if he saves here, it's not great. There's only 10 seconds left on the clock, and he can't even win the first fight. HELLRAISERS, they were down 6-1 at one point, I believe, and since then they brought it back to a 7-7 equalized. And this was what I was worried about, that Budapest 5 eventually would run out of steam, would not have the depth, because they simply do not play this map. So HELLRAISERS is looking very prime going into the second half. If they win this last one, that would be exceptionally good, but that's a big if. JR, you see that replay right there? Oof, what a player.
Yeah, a lot of the rounds that Budapest were winning early were just off of individual entries and just winning gunfights, and that's fallen short now. JR just bombarding them with utility on towards A. JLam gets involved, Coolio as well. Kalinka from behind so quickly into the round. It's unexpected from Budapest, and they have no idea really as to what to do. They've got some presence towards A, so they just continue moving forward. Flarich, the angle unchecked. Now just Badito, another 1 versus 4, and all of them have gone askew. None of them a phenomenal clutch pulled on through, and I don't think Badito's gonna have many chances either. The headshot angle, ducking and weaving, but from behind eventually it would have been sealed in. A great half recovery from HELLRAISERS. A slow start, but they get it and they recover an advantage going into the second half.
And these are not good signs for Budapest 5, because I don't know if their CT side is going to be polished. I don't know if their CT side is going to be one where they know all the angles, where utility can come from, where shenanigans can happen, where an op can be posted up. I'm very worried, and I think I have good reason to be. But Budapest 5, you can see LootBet, our good old buddies, have said that the odds are no longer really favoring them. I think they started off saying that Budapest 5 should be winning, right?
I think they started off with HELLRAISERS having the advantage, but okay. It was more skewed.
Okay, fair enough.
They're giving them a little bit of credit. They're giving them a little bit of a chance.
Aggressive early on. Badito finds one, but he needs more. He's not had a great game so far. Missed a few crucial shots, which have allowed HELLRAISERS back into it. This might be another one of those. Corey needs to step up. He has that USP. First kill comes in. Knows there's Flerich behind him as well. Brief peeks out, but Flerich is good for the trade. And now a 2 versus 3 with grenades that are flying in as well. Coolio is in risk, and he doesn't even know it. Fleeve left alone, and HELLRAISERS is saying, this is how you play Vertigo, baby.
Yep, a great effort. No surprises coming in from that CT side either. No pushes through mid and B simultaneously. It was very much a standard approach from that CT side, and HELLRAISERS read into it. Does come down to the last 2 players from that T side. They quick trade at the end, but they accomplished the same goal that Budapest had on their own T side. And now it's about whether they can compound it in that same fashion. Budapest got off to, I think it ended up being 7-1 as their lead, but they have struggled for rounds ever since.
Oh, Coolio found that first. With the USP, no less. Fleeve picks up the MAC-10. I don't know if that translates through to any more kills, but they seem to have a few boosts going on here and there. Trying to find some gaps over with JR on the other side, though. It's not going to be an easy one, as he just gets clean up. $1,200 for him. No armor on these players either. Really no chance for the CTs to do much.
Yep, JLam sneaking in towards the site. He catches Badito completely off guard. Coolio may meet a similar fate. The AK, of course, incredibly favored in this duel. And JLam's just making sure he's nefarious. A big issue for any of those rotations to come on through. I mean, the fact they found 2 kills with these pistols is already a welcome sign for Budapest. They'd like to stretch that even further. I don't think JLam's going to clear this corner, but oh no, missed shots by Coolio. That could have been an easy frag, but instead it goes awry. That could have been an AK for the following round.
That could have been a knife.
Also true.
Get that $1,500. That's not. I'm not even saying that because I want the knife out of excitement, though that is part of it. But the money would have gone a very long way for Budapest. I think they would have had an op out for Tarsies too. Now instead, no Molotovs, no nades. It's almost impossible to contest ramp without those. That's what the real problem is on a map like Vertigo, where most other maps you say, okay, fine, sure. Oh, actually, that smoke missed.
So even the limited utility, the limited utility that they have is thrown incorrectly. Not looking good.
Badito is hoping to catch someone off guard over here. Salem does peek up into him, and Badito finds that for a skill. Has some friendly fire onto him as well, but that's largely just backup being given so he can back off. And
The B-bomb site seems to be the destination for HELLRAISERS, but it is the incorrect destination to go to numerically. There are 3 players over here, one of them defending the middle area very, very defensively. But let's see how things go.
No, utility deployed in through middle. See if it draws any attention over. They're going for the boost to allow another angle into the site. I think I should be able to get him. Oh. I don't think anybody's close enough to hear it, so I don't think it causes too many issues for HELLRAISERS. But yeah, numerically, Budapest have the numbers on the site. But Kalinka, a great entry, exchanging headshots. Coolio getting spammed through the pillar. It's done. He can't really get anything going, but it's still an equal affair between the 2 teams. 2 versus 2 as this bomb's about to get planted. Now bo3 on low HP has to clutch it back.
bo3's had a very rough game so far, and this one is no less so. A single point of HP left via the nade, and that's just all she wrote, man. bo3 has had a very poor game. I hate to be pointing fingers because scoreline is not the reason why, but the amount of shots I've seen bo3 miss, which could have turned things around for them in the previous half, and even a few over here. It's unfortunate, let's put it that way. This time, he started off nicely. He was able to get the first kill, but no more.
Yeah, great performance we're seeing on the other side of the coin, though, from Flarich. He's been in the right spot in the right time so many times, especially on that CT side when they were making that run right back. He seemed to be the rotationary man of choice for HELLRAISERS.
The ultimate eligible bachelor. He's a rotationary man.
He's
a bachelor. I don't really know.
I mean, that's got to be a position that people kind of look at. I know myself, I like playing those rotation games, preferably when you have a chance to actually rotate as opposed to retaking sites constantly. But playing that rotator, the supportive role really is a crucial point. While Flarich is doing an exceptional job, it might be something to look at later, especially on a map that they're not too familiar with or not too comfortable on.
bo3 will probably be mollied out over here. I mean, it should be. They've got plenty of utility and firepower galore. Jalem comes through with a quick tap and then follows up with a full spray down. There is no way to get away from this guy. He is also having a field day as he jumps in with his 3rd eco frag.
And you see the disparity just between the... Oh, no. Kalinka? Okay. He's... Coolio could have got a knife earlier on, but instead he's on the receiving end. That's insult to injury. But you get to see a disparity just between how these 2 teams approach this T side. HELLRAISERS are being so much more meticulous with their utility, throwing that double nade in towards the jump up position, making sure that they use those Molotovs effectively while they're going into the site to add more and more pressure. And they're making sure to check for simple things like the boost, something that Budapest were catching them out on, or were getting caught out by when HELLRAISERS implemented it. You can see the added practice certainly going a long way for HELLRAISERS.
Alright, Cleve gets a quick kill. Unfortunately, it's a CC, so, kill bonus isn't really a thing. I would quite like the CZ to have its kill bonus still at 300, though, honestly. I think that's an over nerf.
Yeah, it was kind of the panic button approach, right?
Yeah.
Where...
No, it's really good. Break it entirely.
Yeah. They've been slowly giving it some love, but...
I mean, they nerfed it again, so...
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just wrong then.
It's alright. Yeah, it is a pretty good gun otherwise, so I guess I can see where they're coming from. Regardless, though, bo3's positioning slightly new, but it's more being forced there rather than being given the choice. The smoke that came through early on from HELLRAISERS thrown from the spawn prevents him from moving forward, and as a result of that, HELLRAISERS, well, they're not really contested on ramp at all. Alley control is what it's all about for Budapest 5. They're trying to retake it. bo3 and Corey moving in aggressively, but bo3's the only one to get a kill, and that's not good enough. 3 versus 4. They know he's on the flank, but the flanker is also being flanked. Huzzah! A nade to come in from Coolio. That'll not do any damage whatsoever. I think that's my what's that test? The red and blue test, the pH test.
Right. Yep.
Litmus test. The litmus test. That's my litmus test to see what exactly can I expect from a team on their CT side. If they know the grenades and they know the Molotovs to be able to deny a plant, I expect some, okay, you know what, these guys probably know what they're doing to some extent, where at least they'll be able to salvage out 1 round, 2 round by skill rather than by just pure firepower. I'm not seeing that from Budapest 5 right now on their CT side.
Yeah, and especially when you compare it to other teams that are in the playoffs, right? We talked about Endpoint later on. It's one of their favorite maps, and
Alternate attacks as well.
Yeah, and when you get to see either of those teams operate on that CT side, when they lose the A bomb site, they're immediately setting up for Molotovs, HEs to prevent common plant positions and just make things a lot more difficult for that T side, such as the smokes fade by the time they can even get the bomb planted, or they die to utility.
Indeed. Well, Budapest 5. It's the unenviable position of pistols and armor. I think they may be slightly checked out right now, but they're trying their best to get any sort of an opening. 5 players on this A bomb site, however, are going to be found out very soon, as the B bomb site has already been cleared out completely. Jalem, at this point, he's just hungry for some eco frags, and you know what, that hunger is sated. He finds the one, says, that's okay, I can back off now, I'm happy. Kalinka, you can have all the rest of them with problem to come through with some more cleanup. So there is a kill coming through from Corey. However, I don't even know if he shouldn't be able to get that AK. Kalinka can actually shoot out the building and also can just shoot them into the ground towards the left around versus.
Oh, nice shot to start things off. He hears the steps from behind, but Jalem, the good old crouch peek to make sure that none of those rifles fall into enemy hands. The money was looking good for HELLRAISERS, so losing players like that, even if it is just against the pistols, is certainly fine. They're not feeling the sweat as of yet. Several beads of sweat now culminating for Budapest, because they've lost a lot of rounds in a row. Remember, they started this game 7-1, and now they haven't gone that many rounds since, or well, any round since.
Well, maybe this will be the difference maker. Fleeve has pulled out the AWP yet again. It seems like he wants to be the one opening on this map, sometimes not Torzy. And that is saying a lot. Molotovs, grenades, everything. Corey does find a kill, but it's still a 2 versus 3 with your players being incredibly low on Fleeve, the offer, who is now dead as he misses a shot. Corey, there you have it. Oh, okay. You know, so they know the Molotov for that at least, but unfortunately comes out a little bit too late, and he will be spotted. He will be heard going down. Flash comes in from the side, and he gets him the 15th round. I don't think Budapest 5 have much to say here.
Yeah, and I think even though it comes down to a 2 versus 1, I think it's fair to say this is done. We move on to a third map, because we're seeing just a pretty lifeless Budapest 5 on the CT side towards the end of the second half as well, or the first half rather. They were really struggling, and none of that rallying, none of that comeback potential has really been on display. HELLRAISERS have been in the driver's seat for so much of this game now.
Oh, come on, the smoke is once again.
They don't care. They're just barreling in. They're just going for these entries. It's an uncleared angle. Jalem suffers as a result. They know where Corey is. That Molotov, it will still go off, even with the smoke down. He's in the sandbags, but he's burning alive. Still able to find himself a frag, however, but he's eventually tracked down. Meanwhile, Kalinka found 2 kills. It's now just Torzy to pull it back. And although he's brought 1 player down, oh, I wasn't thinking he was prepared for JR. This is a huge issue. Kalinka has a world to traverse to get this one back in his favor, and Torzy pulls it back. That's what Budapest need. They need these clutch performances from their players, but it might be too little too late.
Yumi, forgive me if I don't get excited, because this is the first time we've seen Budapest 5 winning around in 15 rounds.
Yeah.
It was 7-1 in their favor, and now it's 15-8. So 1 out of 15 rounds is, it's pretty clear about the level of preparation coming into Vertigo. Unfortunately, it's a map that we mentioned before Budapest 5 doesn't play. Budapest 5, obviously a team with a decent map pool, but it's a 5-map map pool, and this will happen at Budapest 3. Flareage, however, will be going down. Problem to trade. And Budapest 5, they still don't have great money, even if they won the 1v1 in the previous round.
Nope, Kalinka's finding kills over towards B. Torzi, sharp performance last round, but a really awkward spray keeps him at 4 HP. Still able to come out ahead in the duel, but an easier fight for J-Lam, but he misses every single bullet.
How?
Torzi. Surprising double kill, a missed chance by HELLRAISERS to equalize, and well, now it's JR to clutch. He must have been.
Yes, otherwise it looked like it was completely on point. JR, though, maybe he can prevent Budapest 5 from, you know, getting some solace in this map. Maybe he can come through and get the 1 versus 3, but instead he has decided to be a merciful patron, as he will end up going down 15-9. Budapest 5 could feasibly even make double digits at this point, which is, you know, it's a nice little pat on your back, at least. And right now it is all about Dust 2, the next map. It is all about making sure HELLRAISERS isn't just feeling like they are unstoppable. And, you know, Budapest 5 is feeling a bit more confident. So maybe we can see them getting a few together going forward, but let's see whether or not they land the smoke this time. Oh, they land the smoke. Okay, all right. That's a good change.
Oh.
Okay.
As they then miss Molotovs, so can't go around without some missed utility, it seems.
Yeah.
Torzi spotting out just a glimpse, spamming on through, trying to catch him out, but yeah, they just cannot convert on these sprays, even though it looks oh so close. J-Lam happy to walk away with 1 frag, back himself out. He's just the presence over at A, the distraction for HELLRAISERS.
He's even backed off without them knowing, so the information's even taken away. They've been completely deprived of it. Utility chalked out. J-Lam waiting for his teammates to force Budapest 5 to make a move, and he's hoping he can come through with a flank or a lurk to come in and get some kills. It's a 5 versus 3. HELLRAISERS slowed things down considerably, and it is paying dividends. 45 seconds on the clock, and call will be made by HELLRAISERS to take control of B.
Yeah, and surely that's it. That should be it done. A 1 versus 5, while Torzi finally gets the better of J-Lam after spending so long looking for that frag. It's a very tall order, one that he won't be able to fulfill. We saw it coming after just the long spring of rounds from HELLRAISERS. Some consolidation, some confidence rounds towards the end there from Budapest, but a really, really flat Vertigo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not even coming out with double digits over there will be a slight concern. 14 rounds in a row from HELLRAISERS, though, and that is massive. It's absolutely huge that they're able to get that. And because they have that mental resilience, they're able to take it to the third map. It'll be Dust 2 coming up, and that's where the mental resilience will be all the more important. With that being said, though, Yumi, any closing thoughts before we close it out?
Well, Dust 2 is not looking too hot. I think if they come out the gates on Dust 2 with that same sort of confidence they started off Vertigo, maybe there's that chance. But HELLRAISERS just have so much momentum leading out of that map. I think Budapest 5 have checked out.
Well, we'll have to wait to see whether that is the case. Dust 2, of course, a map which they themselves are probably pretty comfortable on, given how insane Corey and Torzi are. So individually, definitely some close matchups to be seen. Maybe they can make it a comeback. Maybe they can swing the momentum back in their favor. But you have to wait to find out. It's going to be Dust 2 coming up soon after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. We've had some gaming excellence and some a little bit less so going into the second map. Map 1 was Mirage. It was very back and forth, both teams putting up a show. The second map, significantly more one-sided to HELLRAISERS. They were able to get 14 rounds in a row. It is a 16-9 scoreline, so I know you're thinking, how is that possible, T-Time? Well, Budapest 5 was up 7-1, and after that, it was a 15-7. So, Yumi, I think we've said enough about Vertigo. Talk to me a bit about Dust 2. What are you thinking?
I'm concerned, I think. I mean, we came into this, you're sort of leaning more towards HELLRAISERS, I was more towards Budapest 5. I believed that they could bring something to the table that were a little bit kind of unexpected.
You said it would be a HELLRAISERS 2-0. I said it would be a Budapest 5-2-1.
All right, okay, never
You're
mind.
I'm
completely misremembering then. But either way, I was sort of excited to see what Budapest maybe had prepared on Vertigo. Things started out well, and then things go as like really, really wrong from there on out. I think they ended up recovering to 9 rounds, but it's just when we go into Dust 2, it's still a bit of a poor performing map statistically for both teams. So then you come into that HELLRAISERS with that more experience. Of course, they've been around long enough to have played multiple versions of Dust 2. There's obviously the Budapest 5 players will also have that, but maybe not the same level. And I think just having a bit more sort of structure in how they play, because when we were watching them on Vertigo, they're playing a bit more together than Budapest, and Dust 2 can be a sort of a trade fest, or sort of these individual fights hold so much more importance. So if that same chemistry kind of transfers over, if Budapest are still taking those individual fights and relying on those opening frags to get them round wins, then I think HELLRAISERS have a very, very good chance coming into this.
While at the same time, you're also looking at the lineup of Budapest 5 having so many stars, so many players who can pop off. I think every single one of them has pop-off potential, but the ones you obviously have an eye out for are just Corey and Tarzi. Coolio had his moments yesterday as well, so you can always count on him for something magical to come through. But it's very difficult to get past an Opera who's feeling it. So that's where the small caveat comes in. That's where the question comes in. Are they feeling it? And that's why the knife round to find out the answer to that exact question as we head into the third map of Budapest 5 versus HELLRAISERS.
So I know we had this little talk yesterday, but I mean, our observer seems to think the knife round's going to take place at long.
Well, let's see. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. For
Yeah,
context to those of you guys who didn't tune in yesterday, in Asia, a lot of the time the knife round happens in mid.
Yeah, but we're no funny business in over at long. There's nowhere to jump around, nowhere to escape. And so Budapest, they get that freedom of choice. I think a lot more credit has to kind of go to Flarich as well on that secondary map. He was just such a consistent performer, just doing so much on the rotations. And while it was Kalinka doing a lot of work on their T side, he was the one that really started things off. And if the HELLRAISERS side, we talked a bit about how Budapest have these pop-off potential players. HELLRAISERS are kind of have that as well, and they've shown that at least from that previous map, Kalinka and Flarich kind of having that momentum coming into this map.
Do you want to give me a prediction right now, though, Yumi? Are you feeling it? Scoreline prediction, not just a prediction, a scoreline prediction.
I know I was gunning for Budapest before, and it just that sort of underdog story. I think this is going to be a 16-8 in HELLRAISER's favor. I'm welcome to be proven wrong, of course. Aggressive position.
I'm calling 16-10 for Budapest 5, but let's see how it goes.
Ooh, the aggressive angle by Kalinka doesn't quite go his way, but he's got so much support. He go into a firing range in towards the lower tunnels, and it's just Corey in an instant.
I regret my prediction. Corey, 1 versus 4, none versus 4. And I don't mean that he's put on a habit. I mean that he has unfortunately gone down. Loopet's got some odd for us. Partners over there say that it's a 231 to 157. I don't know whether that's adjusted for the pistol round. If it is, then that is
That's probably accurate for me if that's adjusted for this run. Before that, I would have expected something a bit more even.
Yeah, maybe putting a bit more stake into Vertigo. Maybe there's, you know, we don't always know what the loopback guys are thinking, but they've been right thus far. Well, the aggressive pistols from Hellraisers have been a joy to watch. Now it's about the anti-ecos. The JR, the scout in hand, he can do so much damage. Just shot after shot after shot. Oh, he's getting the opportunities. Switches out to the pistol, and while it's a little bit labored, oh, he actually does go down. I thought he was going to be able to get away by the skin of his teeth, but either way, he did all the damage he needed to on that scout.
Now, his teeth just fell out there. He could not bite with that USB. Yeah. He was missing all the shots in the world, unfortunately. Budapest 5, finding that one kill is not a major thing to them, though. It just means there's yet another rifle to deal with. The Hellraiser starting. Things are very strong, but you do still have the problem of, hey, Budapest 5 have a full AK buy coming up to deal with, and early Molotovs being thrown out in spades, as well as the grenade, which doesn't do too much damage to the blue bin player, but there are 4 players coming in from short. Flerich is able to catch a few of those out. Flashbang goes in as well. He's peeking up, finds the first, repositions, and backs off. He's got the great little angle that lets him get some support from JR once they're trying to take him down, but JR is more occupied with that A-long push. Coolio, however, left alone in a 1 versus 2. And things are going to get dicey unless he gets that first kill. And yes, he does. Great headshot comes in. A grenade to help, but that headshot is crisp and perfect. Coolio coming out large.
I thought for sure he was dead. Flashed up so many times on the site as well. There was an opportunity there for Flarich to just seal in the round. But Coolio, he capitalizes. The missed shots on that CT side, the adjustments here. That first kill, in spite of the nade, still keeps it cool, calm, and collected, as his name would suggest. He clutches it back. Well, now it's not really what Hellraisers were identifying early on. And oh my goodness, Corey, Badito, JR, they're all grouped up together. They do so much. The flash coming in at the right moment.
The flashbang from the T side, sorry, from the CT side, was very far off the mark, though.
Yeah.
It seems to do more. Not blind anyone.
It seems to do more to the CTs than the Ts.
Yeah. Because the way that lands, you can easily dodge that without having to actually look away. And now comes out the T side flashes. They're trying to take the deals. They will come out on top. Budapest 5 capitalizing on a very, very simple mistake with a lot of kills out on long.
Yeah, when I'd seen JR in the assist feed, I'd kind of forgotten that he's a Hellraisers player for a second. Well, problem will try his darndest to hold onto this rifle. Takes Torzi before he goes, but well, is he considering grabbing that AK? I think he thought about it for a second, but I don't think he's going to be able to escape. Fleeve containing him towards his position, and they are slowly approaching. See if they can take this out of his hands.
Couldn't be too easy. They do lose Fleeve, and with that, I don't think they have much of a chance as long as the problem keeps jump spotting. But actually, he stops. So he goes for it again. He hears the bullet being fired at him. That's where reaction times come back to bite you. But unfortunately, he's feeling brave. And that bravery is rewarded with death, as it very often is in the modern world. Yeah, of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, of Counter-Strike.
Of Counter-Strike, yes.
Potentially potentially a dark note, but what isn't dark is this recovery. First gun round, first wins for Budapest, and now easier rounds ahead of them, as it's just pistols and the singular Zeus that seems to overwrite any sort of weaponry, because it's the most important purchase that JR has him.
It's the God of Lightning. Is the God of Lightning about to come out on top? The God of Lightning smites down from the heavens. You know what would be really cool, though? If every time you kill someone with a Zeus, it recharged.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that in the air. I won't even honor that with a proper response.
You think it's in the air like the God of Lightning? Budino having a grand old time. Getting some quick eco frags. He does get taken down at the end of the day. Corsi actually comes in with another one. He's got the Mac 10 to find a few. Jayla makes it a very expensive round for Budapest 5. Much more so than we expected. And Yumi, tell me, where did it all start, Yumi?
The god of lightning. I give up. I concede. Back to buys. Back to buys. No Zeus, no deities, just good old-fashioned shooting.
Jalen flashed out as he goes into the pit straight up, but can he find Coolio in the corner? It's Flares to take first point. Flares is still alive, but that life is not being put to good use. He re-peeks out immediately, but can't get the kill, unfortunately. And there you have it. 2 kills for the Budapest 5 side. Molotov is very close. Does that even clear off Kenny? Okay, that clears up Kenny.
Seems to, yeah.
It's a bit of a late one. JR, however, is going to take that duel. Finds out that the M4A1 is not the best in the world when you're going up against an AK. And he is punished as a result of it. Problem, 11-1 versus 4 with a lot to do.
Yep, trying to find a timing around this smoke. Ooh, he just catches Budino off guard. Not going to be encroached on from behind as of yet. They almost line up for him, but the double swing is a little stronger than the potential lineup. Budapest now with 4 in a row.
Timeout coming up from HELLRAISERS. A decent enough time. I'm a really big proponent for timeouts being called when you're on an eco round, because what that allows is for you guys to start the discussion in the timeout and have like a solid minute and a half to discuss different things that could go on, different whatsoever is going to happen. Otherwise, whenever there's a timeout, you're generally going to especially in slightly lower rungs of competition where, you know, the teams are maybe underneath the top 30 mark. What I've noticed very often happens in timeouts is in-game leaders are saying, what the hell are you guys doing? What's going wrong? Tell me. I can't, because they don't exactly know, especially on the CT side, where there are holes coming up. So they spend more time focusing on figuring out where the holes are rather than the actual solutions as well. So as a result of this, the timeout lets you get a little bit more out of it, where, okay, you can talk about what's going wrong. You can see what the Ts are doing according to the rest of your perspective of the players. And then you can use this round to kind of guide them through it and just have a slightly smoother sailing moving forward. So I'm generally a pretty big proponent for this.
Yeah, call back to this sort of existence round we used to get. In this, it's the push towards upper B. Kalinka does his best with the deagle, but it's ultimately damage done, no round win. Could have been a third. Corey was very, very low HP. That would have been enough to keep the economy from out from spiraling out of control. But Budapest are getting to that mark pretty quickly. And of course, we have our lovely partners over at Hellcase, where things don't get out of control. It's instead our biggest and most well-known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgraded, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. And you won't get bored with Hellcase. You can use the promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve. And what we deserve is a bit of a comeback here from HELLRAISERS. Budapest seem to be having their way with so many of these opening picks and opening duels.
JR scoped in with the AWP, but there seems to be a hit over towards B as they find the first kill. Jalem goes down. The one to keep an eye out for is going to be Kalinka, though. When the flashbang comes in, he doesn't take advantage of it. Instead, he's staying here late, playing around the smoke, doing what he can. But unfortunately, what he had to do was over into the side. He finds a kill on the fleet, picks up an AK, but this is still such a difficult retake to come through. The terrorist sign is perfectly positioned.
Yep, a Molotov, a smoke, a flash available for this HELLRAISERS side. It's all about how they deploy it. This 3 versus 3, even with the changes to B, it's still incredibly difficult. The Molotov will sail on through. It's a little short. Torzi can still stay safe in that position. Coolio pushing forward. Flarich takes him down. Torzi, shots being missed on the AWP, and it's just all going HELLRAISERS' way. The duels successful. The retake of B, 1 and a third round under their belt.
I'm not sure how they got that with the Molotov even going awry. That's a very, very good retake coming out from HELLRAISERS. Those straight up headshots across the board. And as much as I did point out that maybe, I think it was Kalinka who dueled the two players in mid first, maybe he needed to care about B site more. He guarantees that the rest of his team can come over and they've got a very smooth entry onto the bomb site itself. Because they're going in a 3 versus 3 instead of having one person on the flank. So props to him. Obviously, probably knows a little bit more about the game than I do. Just a bit.
Yeah, it's a good presence of mind to be concerned about how your teammates are going to do as well. That rotation could have been cut off. And while the spawn-based picks don't find anything from either side as of yet, they're both flashing. They're just trading positions with the utility thus far. JR, the Molotov gives him a bit more room, and while he'll spot the jump out, he does not punish Corey. Hot on his heels, but pushing a little too far. JR prepared.
JR is just repositioning again. He will not be spotted, and they're forced to use a Molotov as well. JR is perfect. Dude, this guy's positioning right in this one, it's insane. First, he gets flashed off his angle around the long corner. He reflashes them, and he uses a Molotov instead of just keeping the peak going because he has another flash. He goes back to car, finds the kill. Now they're trying to smoke off car. Oh, look, I'm on the other long corner instead. Haha, you'll never know. You'll never find me.
Potentially some sneaky stuff could happen around that smoke. Fortunately for them, Torzy is peering in, making sure they cannot cross right back to car. Of course, there was the option to traverse site. And JR actually smoking out the site as well, just to feign that there's some presence, allowing his teammates to cross as well safely before the AWP can spot them out. And with Budapest not having any map control elsewhere, this is very, very concerning. It has to be an A-side hit.
There's 28 seconds left on the clock, and this smoke is massive because it allows for so much space to work with. And JR's here to give him the backup he needs as well for it to find the first. He doesn't need to care about the Molotov because of the smoke being there. Problem finds another. In the meanwhile, Coolio can get one, but it won't matter because JR is still here. He has single-handedly taken over that A-bomb site from HELLRAISERS. That was beautiful from JR. What a round from him. I hope we can catch a replay of some of those kills.
Yeah, after so much weight put on his shoulders as well, because by and large he was isolated in those duels, but just navigating the Budapest aggression so gracefully. And while good graces from JR will give HELLRAISERS another round, there's a poor buy from Budapest in this round. The Hero AK, some upgraded pistols, but Flourish getting aggressive through top middle puts a wrench in the plans as he's keeping them contained towards B.
He's having a good old time with the MP9. Kalinka, in the meanwhile, needs to be careful that he doesn't just lose his AWP. If recovered by the B side, he'll always have a chance, but he's flashed off the angle and ends up backing off to smoke out B. Jalem instead steps up the playing field, but will also end up losing a teammate in the meanwhile.
Nope. Ambitious play from Coolio. Tries to run through the smoke. Kalinka happy to take that frag. Actually think Kalinka got Flourish killed there. Just if maybe he throws a flash, maybe any other piece of utility. I don't think he had one available, but he smokes off the tunnels, and so Budapest were very prepared for that flank. They'll have known he was there, but they were extra careful.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Flourish was dead either way.
It's a big what-if type of situation.
And what if HELLRAISERS makes it a comeback and equalizes it to a 5-5? Gasp! It has happened. Off the back of some very convincing rounds as well. So money is respectable. Not the best, but respectable. You have another buy out in you. It's actually could even be a double up buy if you lose this one. You'd have to sacrifice a little bit, but entirely possible for HELLRAISERS to still find some sort of stability into the last bits of the CT hub.
Nope, Kalinka, you'll take up the reins of JR, holding that long corner. JR, in the meantime, the boost on short, it works wonderfully. The kill initially, it takes a lot of damage in doing so, but it gives them an advantage to start things off.
Does that flash not blind the boost? I think it might not actually. Because of the verticality.
I would have thought it would have done a little bit more than that, but
yeah. And you also can't hear it coming because there's no one in mid, so it's not even like the mid player can call for you to play anti-flash. So it's maybe just a good presence of mind. They know the timing's right. Obviously, always possible. It is a very common flash, so there is that. But JR finds the kill, and that's what really matters. There is a smoke coming out in front of him. He will not pull the trigger as a secondary smoke is there as well. And now he reveals where his positioning is. However, Flarich is here to intercept with the M4.
oh, first duel there by Corey. Crucial one to get them space on the bomb side. They might not know that Kalinka has the secondary op in play, so that long pressure from HELLRAISERS is a lot to hold on to. Torzy taking a mantle over towards short, holding for the inevitable retake from HELLRAISERS, and there's the first kill. Has backup from Coolio as well, and that may just do it. That will incentivize HELLRAISERS to back away, save these ops into a later round. A great play on towards short to seal it in.
Budapest 5 do at the very least stop HELLRAISERS from taking the lead, but keeping those two ops alive, man, that is big. Neither one of them are even going to come down, so I'm surprised about that, to be honest. HELLRAISERS, I thought Budapest 5 would be much more keen to hunt than they actually are, but maybe just afraid of the double off, and I guess a little bit rightfully so, considering that money isn't the best in the world, but the risk reward seems to be enough to send at least one player over.
At least make sure that both don't go through.
Yeah.
Either way, they play a more passive approach. They more concerned about their own economy. I think that's right to say.
Oh.
While Kalinka tries something different, Torzy reads into it.
It's a really, really good read from Torzy. I don't know if he was just watching that in case they were going in and he just happened to catch him out, but JR is pushing through the smoke. He's found one and he goes right back into it, but the smoke is not going to provide you any safety. It's problem instead to step up, but he has also stepped down Badito to eliminate him from that B bomb site. A fast-paced play pays dividends like nothing else, and Fleeve, well, if he goes down here, that is maybe going to open up possibilities of a retake, but Torzy is his backup, and he is going to be fine. Flarich does kill him at the end, so I'm wrong about Fleet being fine, but Flarich, is he really going to be allowed to save this off?
Yeah, I guess again.
I don't like this. I really don't like this.
I mean, there's two players left. Their money is still not looking super healthy. Considering HELLRAISERS have put so much stake in the AWP this entire half, I definitely understand why that won't be the best.
This gives them a full buy. That's the problem. Like, the AWP is a major difference maker over here. You'll see they have full rifles, or maybe an MP9. Yeah, so Problem goes for an MP9 to have a bit more utility. He also goes for head armor instead of a kit, so I will forever point that out, because that's just who I am. I'm not about that head armor life on the CT side.
True.
Flashes flying through a piece. Beautiful shot from JR, and that's what you want to see. Flarich peeks out wide, pulls out the M4, re-peeks in for more. He's got 2 and 3. Beautiful frags coming up from Flarich. A short is his zone of control, and Torzy being spotted out is not going to be giving him any favors whatsoever. Flarich to take him down. 4 kills on this man.
What a hold. Going through the smoke, that's always a bit of a worry, but Flarich finding isolated duels. Just the adjustment there at the end as well. Fantastic stuff. And to start off that round, you know, you harp on the fact they didn't hunt that off down. JR being able to afford that last round just means that it opens up wonderfully for HELLRAISERS.
It's not great. Torzy, however, will be given the perfect timing on the flashbang to allow him to take down JR. That's quite nice to see. Smokes to fly in as well. That's a gap on the smoke on the right, but that shouldn't matter. Flareage comes in. He had a monster hole before. This time, the smoke is there to prevent the Molotov from really doing any damage to him, but it's a 2 versus 3 in favor of the T side.
He's still around these smokes. Oh, spammed eventually. They clue into where he's positioned. Bit over exposed as a result of that. Jaylam pushing further forward. Fleeve the first to fall, but there's the headshot angle taken up by Corey. And 8th secured by Budapest. It all stems off that initial pick and kind of calls back to our Vertigo when Budapest were finding those opening picks consistently. That's how they sprung those rounds together. But it also shows just how much of an emphasis they put on JR to lock things down over at A. He was that one kill that was found, and then they basically have to concede the site.
They have a very old school way of playing the long, which I'm sure we can get into in a second. Oh yeah, their flashbangs are strong. That's why I didn't flash out the... Okay, yeah. Now I know. Never mind. Burrito just has a flashbang that pops a little bit too much to the right side. That's why I didn't catch out the boosted player. Otherwise, it's supposed to. It is supposed to.
Well, that's a flashbang that does hit the mark. Forces JR off the angle as he gave long control to a friend of his. Jaylam instead positioned there. Kalinka, oh, pushing in front of the smoke. They line up for him. The tag on Torzi, but it's a trade nonetheless for Budapest. They've lost a... Oh no, they lose the presence in middle from Flarage.
Yeah, and it comes out in the favor of the CT side massively, but Corey's still alive and with HP. Unfortunately, he can't say the same about his teammate. Problems picked up the op as well. He knows Corey's coming in from behind, and he is so happy to scope in to the tunnels. But remember, if he's baited out into taking the shot, that would be his undoing. He does find the tag, and with the USP, the follow-up is there also through the corner of that box, and you've got Hellraisers coming out to 7 rounds. I will say... Budapest 5 making quite a few key mistakes with their utility over towards short. Now that I've seen the flashbang being thrown by Burrito finally. But one thing that I have to quickly point some fingers at, unfortunately, is the fact that they never really figured out that JR was soloing long. These days, as we do have our friends at Lootbed giving us some odds, still favoring the Budapest 5 guys, probably because they're 8-7 up. But these days, you generally see 2 or 3 people being sent towards long, even sometimes 4 people sent over towards long, and 1 person to hold mid and B together. And there's a very good reason for that. It's because it's so incredibly difficult to hold on. So JR getting as much as he did in itself is even more marvelous when you put that into perspective. But Budapest 5 definitely also showing signs that utility might not be completely on point in that regards.
Well, some questions to be had about grenades, but of course not too many grenades brought into this round. Couple of flashes on Coolio. Kalinka has a nade set himself, and well, they position themselves out long on the side of Hellraisers. A smoke deployed on short seems, or over towards short. I don't know if that actually landed where it's supposed to, because that seemed like, based on the minimap, it might have missed, but either way, Hellraisers showing a bit of presence in. And while a miss smoke is certainly not ideal, they begin to mount pressure on this A bomb site. There's 3 players here for Budapest, so they are in a good enough position to really contest this.
Well, that's a great way to start things off. Fleeve goes down, Flareage is looking good, and so is JR. Both the players from the first half coming in into the second. Loud, proud, and very much proud. As Badito will get a return kill, but with the bomb being planted, no kit in the possession of Budapest 5, things are not going to be easy for them whatsoever.
Yeah, there might be one in transition that they can recover, but they may not even get that far. Kalinka and Jaylam get both the kills necessary to seal it in, and equalizing and a pistol round taken by Hellraisers.
Off the back of some great opening kills from Flareage, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's carrying over that performance from Vertigo. I mean, 21 kills, 11 deaths. There's been 16 rounds of play, so yeah, he's having a good old time.
Yeah.
And the question is, do we see a repeat of Vertigo in more than just one way? JR, he is just fighting up with the boys at mid. He's... Oh, that shot was beautiful. Gets it through the smoke. Not the smoke. Gets it through the door. And Fleeve comes in with a few of his own as well. Brody want to keep an eye on him the way his hand is actually working out. It's very, very hot. But JR, in the meanwhile, is fighting more tags. Or at least attempting to do so.
Yeah, Padito. Oh, he's hitting it with the moves. Back and forth he'll go. JR missing a lot of those shots on the scout as he still moves quickly. JLam, oh no, he gets sandwiched. Those rifles can now be recovered by Budapest as B has been fully cleared out. This is a very worrying round for HELLRAISERS on the anti-eco.
On the bright side, the one place where they end up going to is there is still a USP only. And these two rifles also don't have armor, but they're both coming in together. Flairich, I think, hears them. He should be able to hear them at this point at the very least. He definitely has information that they're going towards long over here. So it all comes down to JR and his scout. Both these players are in one-hit territory. He's just got to treat it like an AWP, but let's see whether or not he can get it done.
Oh, first shot in. There's Fleeve gone, and Flarich will do all the rest. Yeah, the HP comes in to be a big factor coming into that retake, but still a worrying round. The fact that, who was it? Fleeve gets 2 kills with the Deagle over at B. That is, I mean, he scared JLM off. He didn't want to have to fight into that either.
No op on Budapest 5 could be a problem, but they will abandon mid entirely and go for a lot more control over towards the B tunnels. No real utility damage coming out from either team so far, but would be interesting to see how exactly Budapest 5 adjust later on into the round when their op can't really find them picks or anything. They do have Bonito actually stationed next to Ruben, so I guess that's quite a nice little adjustment, but it leaves Long a little bit wanting for attention.
Lurk smoke over towards B, still keeping a couple of players there honest on Budapest. And not a lot of bodies being thrown their way. Some utility to just flush out those close angles. HELLRAISERS are being meticulous in their approach. The flash in to attempt to blind Corey, but will miss the mark. Corey, though, unchecked. The flash, it would have been good to use alongside that smoke because Corey gets away with murder, but eventually gets tracked down. And now this B bomb site is looking enticing because they've still got that presence in towards the upper tunnels. They can wrap in as well. Because see, they're even thinking about getting aggressive on the Budapest side to get tunnels control.
Kalinka takes down Badito, though, and that could make Budapest's plans a little bit more difficult because the A site is now becoming even more enticing, and you've got the flanker as well in the back lines. JR to find Coolio's head, JR to find Fleeve as well, and Gauzy, the last line of defense, is just going to be a line of chalk around the floor.
Well, I don't look forward to reading the obituary, but he's right there with the rest of his team. A timeout called by Budapest. They have not really gotten the ball rolling on the CT side. Of course, losing the pistol and the round subsequent, it's to be expected, but a great sort of read there from HELLRAISERS, just keeping attention over towards B, making them sweat about a B side split, only to then double back towards A. That just opens the door wide open for JR.
Well, maybe... I don't know, man, because at this point, I'm really looking forward to Torzy finding the ops so he can at least have a chance to show up the way JR did on the CT side, but that's just not seemingly being made a priority on the Budapest boys. They will have it in the next round, at the very least, but is that a little bit late at that point? Torzy comes in with a great kill, so does Fleeves, but unfortunately in doing so, they do give up the entirety of the A-bomb site. And seems like
That should be rotations forced. AK picked up from Fleeve could actually be impactful though. JR, however, is in a great position to find that AK, gets a tag onto Coolio, but Coolio has permitted Fleeve to cross over, and that's what really matters.
At the time that's taken for HELLRAISERS to make a move, there's a player rotated in. He only has a USP, and he's not even looking the right direction, so it's easy enough to deal with, and that will be the call now for Budapest to change their objective, get their hands on these rifles if possible, and while Fleeve has one, he's trying to get Coolio his hands on another. There should be one on top of the Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, so they may have just missed that, but now they recover it, so...
Yeah.
I don't think this is a good idea for them to go for this, but they're still going to try their hand. Coolio, okay, makes me question whether that's right or wrong. The first kill in, but now he's lost his own life, and JR fires the shots he needs to, hits them where it counts. A two-player surviving round for HELLRAISERS on the anti-eco. Again, another close-ish round for Budapest, but it's not quite enough.
So this is actually what I meant by they're not prioritizing the op enough for me. The two AKs, sure, you have a chance, but you don't have a kit, so you're probably not getting that anyway, given how much time you wasted finding that second AK. If you save the AKs forward, yes, you have a buy regardless. I agree with you entirely. But the difference is that if you lose that round, or if you lose here or there, you'll still always have enough money for an op to be dropped at the very least. So I would really want to see something like that coming in, where they're prioritizing those decisions. And Dorsey shows me exactly why I want the op in his hands. So... would be nice to see them kind of recognize that a bit more, play to their strengths slightly more. I want to see Torzy coming alive on the AWP. I want to see them being able to, pull off these nutty shots. But let's see whether or not my concerns are even valid. They might just end up winning this round with 3-4 people alive, and at that point, it's all good.
Yeah, potential foreshadowing for rounds to come for Torzy if he opens up like that. Fleeve, secondary op available, of course, for Budapest. Oh, he ducks under, doesn't lose his teammate, fortunately. An isolated duel that could have been gone astray by timing alone. Now just 3 players for HELLRAISERS. The smoke will give them a bit of security and getting some distance towards this A bomb site, but now the utility's down. They have to go swiftly. First tag in, 1 HP surviving on Problem, and I don't know if that will come back to bite them. JR creeping forward with the bomb. It's easy enough for Core. The second kill easier because of the HP, and he almost gets all 3 kills, but Flaric answers back. He even finds the secondary, but Badito is there for the trade.
If Flaric had been able to find 3 kills there, that would have been huge. That means an AWP isn't saved. That means your money's not that great either, but obviously a huge performance from Corey coming in. He's even got the presence of mind to be able to throw the smoke out. I am not entirely sure about that personally, because it could have ended up against him, but at the very least, he does find the kills, and that's what matters.
Well, HELLRAISERS, they've won most of the rounds in the second half, but they have run out of cash. They cannot afford the weapons they want, and so they'll just barrel on through the smoke on towards CT and hope to approach this B bomb site rapidly enough to catch them off guard. Corey above the smoke finds 1, Coolio with the other 2, and the last remnants of the HELLRAISERS offense are between smokes, in through middle, and even with the surprise factor, Corey is just so prepared.
Well... perhaps my concerns were for not, as Budapest 5 are going to be able to clean this one up with at least 4 players kept alive. Even 5 seems to be in the cards, but Problem could at least try and take away his life. Coolio, however, does not care about any attempts made on his life. He is an assassin. He doesn't... he's fine either way.
I want to see Budapest get a bit creative with this op on Torzy, right? We saw JR going for boosts on short, getting aggressive, going for sort of faster plays like that, whereas I don't know that we'll be able to see that from Budapest, but I really do hope that there's a bit of creativity employed. Just because you've got the double op doesn't mean you can simply sit back and just take the same angle over and over, but Torzy, a more standard approach, long control on the cards for the CT side. They'll be able to get Badito in position, while HELLRAISERS explore in through middle instead.
Corey wanting to swing out, but at the end of the day, it is all about Jalen. who's been left to his own devices over in short. Molotov will not be looking fantastic for him. It does look to be a full A site execute, funnily enough. That smoke's going to be very, very important because it means Torsi can't get involved. Bonito should be taken down swiftly. Torsi's the first kill. Bonito's trying to spray, but he can't get it. Coolio, AUG in hand, ready for the push as Corey will try to put up a defense of his own, but JLM comes in. He finds the 2 kills, leaving Fleeve a very lonely boy.
Untimely demise there from Corey. Pulls out the nade just as he does so. Loses a teammate CT. When he turns around, there's 2 angry terrorists coming his direction. Certainly not ideal for a position like that, but some great timings and a great execute there from HELLRAISERS. Fleeve trying to get away with his AWP, securing the 1 frag thus far. And they seem to be hunting. HELLRAISERS do want to get this one out of his hands.
They decide not to, and I do understand why at this point. Money's not great. 3 players kept alive is always really all you need on the terrorist side. You don't ever have to go for the double up either, so not too many major concerns as far as that capacity goes. But at the very least, they do know that if they win this round, then Budapest 5 does not have money. This one is where, okay, Budapest 5 can still go for the Hail Mary double up again. Or they can choose to just buy up an M4 on Fleeve and say, you know what, let's take it a bit slower. Let's space out our economy slightly more. Make sure that we have more ops out. I wouldn't mind it personally because I don't think Fleeve has been too effective with the secondary op so far. I don't think it's been a major factor in whether or not they win any rounds, but that could end up changing depending how HELLRAISERS wants to play this.
Well, we will have a bit of a pause as we consider just how Budapest will kind of approach this one. Of course, a buy will come through, but like you said, putting the double up setup again into both Fleeve and Torsi's hands maybe isn't reaping the rewards that they were hoping for, and so keeping that primary, getting Torsi more involved, instead of kind of simply taking up that short crack peek that he likes to go for, or that long pressure, giving him a bit more room to sort of explore the map may be an option for them. No, they do buy up that secondary op. They seem content to allow Fleeve to operate with it, and you can understand the approach. It opens up more doors for that rotationary player that's typically holding in through middle to kind of quick rotate back towards B, but does also leave it in a space where, should that player go down, the B site split is very, very enticing. So we'll have to see if any of that theoretical nonsense comes into this, or whether Budapest will answer back, but get a bit more effectiveness out of that secondary ult.
It's not nonsense, Yumi. Don't put yourself down right there. It's more just theory, which is generally not put into use on the server by the players. Of course, there are differences in what we see and they see, so there's obviously always going to be a difference in theory of perfection and theory of actualization, but let's see what's being actualized over here. HELLRAISERS going for a quick B take as they do try and move in. JLM, however, is brought down by Fleeve early. Fleeve is traded away, and Problem will add even another to the tally. There probably should be a save from Budapest 5 side. They've got enough money on Fleeve to be able to drop to Coolio in the next round should they desire to do so, but HELLRAISERS have at least guaranteed themselves the 13th. And this is where I want to start throwing some bodies at Budapest 5. You know, just take 2 AKs, say, go, sick them, get after them, make it happen.
Go kill.
You can still buy, go kill, yes. The very, very advanced strategy that was created by the legendary in-game leader Starix when he was coaching Navi, and Guardian was there, and it was inherited down to Zeus as Guardian passed the mantle of the best oppo in the world, and the simple as well. It's a little-known historical fact. I see you are also very well-versed in your character.
I'll be honest, I just look at memes, but it's a B split from HELLRAISERS. Not quite the way that I thought it would happen, but a very, very rapid approach through middle. and Budapest just couldn't get the players in position early enough. I mean, you saw them sort of scrambling to get a smoke down door. They spot him out, and it's just simple proceedings from there. A trade game from HELLRAISERS. So the change of pace is very, very well timed from HELLRAISERS coming out of the pause. They were prepared for a faster gamble, while Budapest were caught with their pants down. Another buy comes through, of course, with the saved weaponry that allows it. Back to the passive play from HELLRAISERS. That flash.
And that's the flash.
Yeah, it popped a little higher, popped a little bit more to the right.
So happy to see that.
At least one of them knows the lineup.
No, it's more just being proven right that there is another flash, because I know I don't really have the credibility of like an X-Pro or something. Molotov there, unfortunately does not reach Torzy. Torzy sees ahead and takes a shot, but connections are something slightly harder to achieve at times.
Oh, Corey. That lurk smoke that's supposed to be there from HELLRAISERS, he pushes forward and takes it Sanctuary in that smoke, but it's all a ruse. That initial smoke is just a distraction. They begin their split. They have that presence outside. Although Budapest take control of the upper tunnels, Kalinka is still here. And as the attention is drawn, oh no, the flank of the potential angle into the bomb site back again. And Budapest, they think they've made the right reaction. They've made the right play to make things a little bit easier on the retake, but they're losing the numbers even still.
And now they're hunting as well. Farish knows where that AWP is going. The AWP is not going to be kept. I don't know if they have enough money. It should be a 2,400, so Torzy can go for it. But yeah, it's a $2,400 loss bonus if I'm not wrong, which again, we have experienced many times where I am. So Torzy can go for the glass cannon, but his team definitely doesn't have it by that, it's for sure. Badito's being hunted, Badito's being felled. Oh, I lied. That's literally a full loss bonus. Okay, that's fine too. But one thing to note though is HELLRAISERS read Budapest 5 perfectly right there. They knew that Kalinka should not be inside upper tunnel. They knew that Budapest 5 is likely to take control. And they say, you know what, Kalinka, come in late. Let us take first point of contact. Let us make sure that there's no one in car and that they have actually all gone towards upper tunnel. We'll even take the first duel to make sure they're distracted. You have the easy duel. And that's just some great stuff coming out. Unfortunately, a little bit less so with some missed utility from Badito. Full buy is there from Budapest 5, but this is the round where they have to bring everything together.
Yeah, whether or not they can follow through. It's again another up play from Torzy over towards short. This time far more forward. The Molotov, the utility could be a lot more effective, but Badito is the man to watch this position over at car. He actually gets himself away. In spite of the spam, in spite of the Molotovs coming through, no real significant damage done. And keeping him alive in that position means that Torzy can continue to operate. A clear in through middle from a couple of the Budapest players, and they know that it is very A-long centric.
Also means that they've used a lot of Molotovs for nothing. And not being able to get a kill is pretty big. You've only got one Molotov left, and when you're going onto the A side, that's really difficult to do so without being able to at least molly out Goose, molly out potentially the left side of the side. Gandalf. Kalinka, however, doesn't need a Molotov. He's got a great old bullet straight to the head, and Jalen, well, that's through a smoke. That's quite nice to see as well. Even if Kalinka does end up falling, Torzy can't pick up the pieces, and the bomb should be going down. A nade and a Molotov can both fly in, but it's a smoke which keeps them at bay for now. And with that, Budapest 5 will attempt to save these three weapons into the next round. Torzy repinking over here would be a bit of a mistake for me. Problem could actually take him down. They're going for the retake. They don't want to fight for overtime, and I don't know, man. I'm going to go ahead and say that's a mistake.
Yeah, it puts a lot more strain on the buy for the following round. I think they'll still be able to obviously muster things together with that full loss bonus, but I don't know. I keep looking at the scoreline. I just keep thinking, your prediction is very close to coming true. I mean, a 15th round for HELLRAISERS. I think you said 16-10.
Yes, but I said it for Budapest 5.
Oh, okay. Well, I was remembering the scoreline alone over here, but
It's all right. I'm not going to take credit for a prediction that I didn't make. I am proud of my predictive failures. Not really.
well, yeah. I mean, you could have just ran with it, but someone would have gone through the VOD and be like, wait a second.
This is why we're not hiring him for the major. He is a liar.
He's pretended. He's a phony.
He's a pretender.
No phonies here. We own up to the mistakes, and while Budapest are trying to make amends for lost rounds, they'll try to take control of long. But Dino is so blind. So many flashes barrel over. He thinks it's about to be over. Then another one comes, and Budapest are a man down to start that off.
The wall of white. It's an unpleasant experience for any Counter-Strike player.
Yep. Looking at you, B-Site Mirage players, and
yeah.
It's a good reaction though. They've got Fleeve through the upper tunnels. He's cleared things out, so they know that they can stack towards this A bomb site, meet them head on, and maybe surprise them by numbers. Kalinka is still lurking to make sure that they can't be flanked out. And with a minute remaining, there's still options available for HELLRAISERS, but they're still deploying a lot of utility over at long.
Indeed. 50 seconds left on the clock, and Kalinka is ready to take control of the B side. Potentially, Budapest 5. They're having a case of the nerves. They don't want to just decide, oh yeah, let's go over towards B. They're probably there, but the problem is they know there's players inside pit. They know there's utility coming in, and with 30 seconds left on the clock, Fleeve is the only person who can reasonably make his way over to B in time. Torzy doesn't even see the second player, and he knows there's players right behind too. They're using all their utility. This is the ultimate. Oh no, Torzy can find the kill, but it is for comfort. JR comes in from the side, pushing through the smoke. Torzy gets another. It's a 3 versus 4 retake, and the positions are perfect. Kalinka already moved fast, finds the immediate one tap and a Molotov to make sure they can't push through the smoke. They're trapped in their places. They're stuck at their feet. They're glued to the floor, but nothing will ever bail them out of this position. Problem is perfectly postured. Kalinka swings out for more problems. Got the crossfire and the finish. 16-10, man. HELLRAISERS, what a way to win and go into the semifinals. That was an exciting round.
They orchestrate it perfectly. Every single bait that they employed, Budapest bit down 2 times over. 2 players really causing the distraction over at long, and it was all a clever ruse, all about